Hello everyone, welcome back to Dropped Frames, and this is our spooky episode because it's Halloween. Ooh, wait,
I'm leaving.
Cohh's turned into a ghost, everyone. Woo!
Oh god damn it. How do I turn this off?
This is very scary.
He's in the abyss. Woo!
Ah, god damn it. All right, fine.
Oh
god,
scary.
Now he can't fix it. See,
I broke my camera.
Now his camera's
okay, there we
broke.
go. We're back.
Okay, all right. Technical
That's
difficulties.
that's the
real
scary.
Horror.
Technical difficulties.
Jesus,
that's right,
don't scare me like that. That's the nasty stuff. You might have recognized a familiar voice if you're listening on the podcast or watching on the videos. It's GassyMexican. Zeke is out. He caught the vid. Yeah,
I'm and more, as the intro says.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We love and more.
I like it.
The and more is always great. Yeah, Zeke, he caught the COVID, I guess at TwitchCon is what he thinks, he says. Who's really going to believe him, though? You know?
I think of the group that me and Zeke were all hanging out with, which we kind of met multiple times throughout the weekend. I think the last count was 8 of them are COVID positive.
Oh, God. What, were you guys just Frenching each other? Like, what the hell was going on in Vegas, man?
Bro, it was Vegas, man. I mean, it was just one constant, consistent orgy the entire
just gambling
time.
and, like, licking the chips.
That's right.
Among
other
some
things.
money.
Yep.
You make out with your bro. That's how that's Vegas rules.
That's what you, not anyone around you. You don't even need to know them. You just go wild.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the Vegas way.
Jesus, yeah,
I didn't know about, but apparently that's what they do.
I have seen a lot of folks get COVID and or just con crud. I think Cohh has come down with the con crud from what we can surmise.
Yeah, I've got all the lung and nasal stuff of COVID, but I don't have a fever, and I got the exhaustion. That's fun. But I got half COVID.
You got the Cohh.
Con crud.
You're
Cohh.
Cohh.
I got the Cohh. I'm the Cohh. That's
you are
right.
the Cohh.
That's exactly right. No, but I've tested twice as negative, so I mean, whatever I got, it sucks. But you know, we make do. We make do.
And somehow
it's
Max got out unscathed. Is that?
I'm fine. I've tested twice. I'm good to go.
Huh?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I feel like I had a little. My body was already going into it fighting fit because I already had like something while I was.
So you brought it.
England and
You're the.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, it was probably
before.
Yep.
It was before. Like before that, like prior to going to England and all this, like I had something. It wasn't even anything really. Like it was like some mild something where it's hard to tell for me because I get like allergies, and especially here in Austin, like with rain that comes in, it punches up all the plant farts, and it's hard for me to like distinguish the symptoms from like, am I getting sick? Because they can be one and the same a lot of times. Yeah. But no, at the con I was fine.
Yeah.
Well, I think I saw you Saturday night, right? I think me and you, and then people started getting sick on like Monday. No, I think you're patient 0.
Might be.
I think you had pre-COVID. Yeah.
There's there's a lot of allegations flying out.
You know, it doesn't hit some people.
You brought the base evolution, and then it hit us, and like Pokemon, it evolved in all of us.
No proof.
And now we have super COVID.
No proof at all. Just because I was in the area where other people were, and now they are sick. There were a lot of other people there.
Pretty sure the glove fits. But you know what? We'll leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that. Could have been anyone.
There's me and Strippin were talking on Wednesday because we were both like, I kind of wish we were going to TwitchCon. We were getting a little bit of that FOMO, and then I think I saw Cohh's tweets and Cammy from Bethesda. You guys both had flight delays, and I was like, man, I'm kind of glad I'm not going. And then Strippin, right before we had where we won all of our league, we won every single league match that night, 100%. We didn't lose and D-rank nonstop. Fuck league. Sorry, random tangent. And he said, it's okay. Everyone's going to catch COVID. Don't worry about it. Now, he was right. I think he cursed everyone. I think he was the soothsayer all the way from England. It's probably
Shaman
him.
Strippin. Yeah. That's probably him. Voodoo Strippin. On
probably
the case
him.
Yet again. Yep.
It happens. It happens. Just like Twitch. This is a weird segue. Just like TwitchCon happened.
Okay.
Everyone
we'll take it. Not the best, but it works. We'll take it.
It works. It was a it was very interesting watching it from afar. You guys were both there. A lot of streamers were there. And we can kind of go through everything that they announced and the actual con. But one of the biggest takeaways, and I actually spoke, I haven't talked to Cohh about this. I talked with Max about this actually, and a couple other streamers as well. Because there was like this air of, everyone went into TwitchCon, and I mean, on the show, the most recent show, we were like fucking unbelievably cynical. I think they came back from TwitchCon.
That's like the general mood. Yes.
I think it's a little bit. Yeah, everyone like came back from TwitchCon and like it was like they went to a fucking church or something, the church of Twitch, and they're just like
a streamer retreat.
Yeah, and everyone just came back so much happier. And it's not just like in our little social sphere. That extends to like almost every social sphere that I saw go to TwitchCon. People are just like, I feel like things are changing. I feel like Twitch is, it's on the up and up. I'm excited about it again. So I want to know who was serving the Kool-Aid and where can I get some?
So here's the thing. When I first got to TwitchCon, I brought my laptop with me, and I'm playing on this new EverQuest server. And my plans, my plans were to stay in my hotel room, level my necromancer. I had like, I was probably going to just go say hi to people at the partner party. There was an Xbox mixer, and then I had like my meet and greet, hanging out with my mods and a couple panels. Okay. And I was expecting to like stay in my hotel room the rest of the time, staycation in Las Vegas, essentially.
Yeah.
So when I went to the Xbox mixer, you know, I was early. I was early because I had a bunch of emails I had to respond to. So my plan was just to shack. I didn't even go with anyone. Just shack up solo in a booth and just, you know, punch out these emails on the phone that I've been meaning to do. And it immediately started feeling different. Like all these people, as people started arriving, like people just kind of like started, you know, sitting down opposite of me. We'd have a conversation. They'd get up, another person sit down conversation. People in the industry, other streamers, just people that I've met in the travels that are kind of like ancillary positions around content creation. And I noticed early that a lot of people just seemed more enthusiastic than normal. And more importantly, not a single person was kind of like, yeah, you know, here we are, you know, going through the motions, which to be fair,
that happens.
That's a thing. That's absolutely a thing.
Yeah. That sounds like me towards the end of the, like pre-COVID, after going to cons for 7 years. It's like another PAX. Here we are.
Do the circuit enough times. It's just like,
exactly.
Con.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better. Like doing the circuit, and everyone was kind of, but people were energized and pretty lively, and I was kind of picking up on it and kind of, you know, feeling that. So, you know, at the end of the con, or the Xbox mixer, the Xbox guys were super cool. There was like this nearby Ferris wheel thing, but like each pod is like 25 people that they can hold, and we get in one of these with a bunch of Xbox execs, a bunch of creators and stuff. Swifters there, COVID, every one of us. No. So they had a bartender in this thing. So there was a free bar and a bartender with 25 people in it on a Ferris wheel. And the second we get to the top, we were overlooking all of Vegas, and right in front of us was this big attraction called the Sphere.
Yeah.
Which is like this giant, basically ball of screen. And right when we get to the top, the Xbox execs are like looking at their watch and like, okay, here we go, we're doing it. And they dropped all of the Xbox stuff that they had paid to put on the Sphere, like right at the top for the first time ever. So there was like this crazy wild energy. Like everyone was super excited about it, and everyone was pumped. And this was the first time these guys had ever seen it, because it's the first time it's ever actually been on the Sphere. And right from there, like for some reason, that's kind of like when I was like, oh, this trip is going to be kind of cool. And from that moment on, it just kept getting cooler. The second I get to the bottom, all the people that were in that pod were like still talking and hanging out. And a few of them were like, yeah, let's go to the partner party. And I was like, I think I'm going to go back. And they're like, no, we're going to the partner party. And I was like, okay, I'll go there. Go to the partner party. It was actually great. Even though I didn't know 90% of the people there, the 10% that I did, we all like congregated right around the bar. It was totally an open bar. The only stipulation is you can only have one drink at a time. So, you know, I sat there like drinking 7 beers, and like people were coming in, going out of our giant 20-person ring, just like talking and hanging out, taking pictures and stuff. And it just kept getting more and more like communal. So I met a bunch of people at the Xbox party. Then they took us and I met their friends and a bunch of other people at the partner party. And then after that, we just go bar hopping into casinos, met a bunch of other cool streamers and people that I'd never really met before. I ended up hanging out with like 2 other people that were in Cyberpunk. So we had like a little group, and like, it was very freaking cool. And then during this, all this stuff drops from Dan. Dan is off being Dan the whole time, and we keep getting like notifications that he's off. You know, he's on a kick stream telling them to have fun at Twitch, and then he did the keynote where there were actually a bunch of fantastic announcements. You know, he's off like just being Dan, which is an entirely different discussion.
Everywhere.
This
I don't understand the stamina.
Oh yeah, dude, an entirely different discussion. But Dan Clancy is exactly what Twitch needs right now, like in terms of what they've needed for like the last 3 to 5 years in terms of PR. To put it bluntly, Twitch PR has been on a steady decline for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like there's been little tiny bumps, but there's like an overall like downward line from like 5 years ago until recently.
And I would say so much of that was just they didn't even say anything. And that was part of the problem.
Yep. That was, if not the problem, like was the fact that like all of this stuff was happening, and sometimes it was really negative, and no one was saying a thing.
Yeah.
And that was a huge issue. So Dan has kind of gotten out in front of that. And he is now not only being a voice, but they're giving him some good things to say. And more importantly, he's addressing a lot of those elephants that have been hanging out in the room for like 5 years now.
Yeah.
So that has all together created this new atmosphere where for one of the first times in a long time, I'm looking around TwitchCon and being like, Twitch stonks are kind of going up. Like I've been so used to things going down and this kind of like fog over all of our heads where it's like, oh, what's happening with Twitch? Where's it going? You know, like the future doesn't look bright. All these rumors about what's coming next. And just like, and then added all the bad news and the no communication was just, but now for the first time, like we're getting good announcements. Dan is killing it. A lot of creators are feeling better. And that's kind of a rising tide raises all boats kind of things. Because as all levels of Twitch from the top creators to the very bottom are kind of like slowly going up, like the viewers are getting happier. Like all tiers of streamers are getting happier. I'm sure the people working at Twitch are starting to feel a little bit better. Maybe they're going to just try that a little bit harder. You know, Dan's kicking ass. So it's just all these stars that are aligning. And it really made it, to put it bluntly, I tweeted this out and I'll say it again. This last TwitchCon was one of the favorite conventions I've ever been to. In just terms of everyone having a good time. Every time I saw somebody, it was all positive. There was no like, oh, you know, you're here too. Yeah, you know, like I started going in literally saying this is like my contractually obligated TwitchCon. You know, I'm just here because I have to be.
Yeah.
And I left being like, that was freaking awesome. That was great. And now I'm going next year. I'm not even obligated to. And I'm definitely planning on going to TwitchCon next year. Like, no question. As long as everything keeps up.
In Vegas. That's the only thing I'll say.
They've already said it's not going to be in Vegas.
Yeah, they've already said it's not in Vegas. Yeah.
That's well established even before like we left the con, honestly.
Yeah. I was done by the end of that con.
Yeah, my wife was there for Riot stuff. I think she ran into both of y'all.
We did a panel together.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Yeah, she said it was just like the worst. Like Vegas just, and then like the F1 stuff made getting around just an actual nightmare.
Yeah, they were still like in hustle mode for getting
$100
for the F1
to go
stuff.
like a mile down the road, just like a nightmare on all fronts.
It was which honestly speaks even higher about the con. Like if it was still super enjoyable even with all of this other stuff happening. If they had actually made it to San Diego again, I think that this would have been phenomenal. And I really hope they go back to San Diego. There's something kind of clicks with Twitch in San Diego, I feel like. But
yeah,
I would be surprised if they didn't go to San Diego. Like with the feedback that they've gotten from everyone, just from regular con goers to partners to everyone saying like, we liked San Diego, we want to go back there. Obviously they haven't announced anything, but it would be very surprising if they decided to go someplace else as like a new venue or whatever, when San Diego it works so well and everybody has that feeling of like wanting to return back. It would be a weird move for them not to.
Yeah. I was talking one of the only complaints, and it's funny because I'm curious for the two of y'all, the show floor, funny enough, was in San Diego. Apparently the show floor is just like too big, and so it makes TwitchCon feel very sparse. And that was like the only complaint I've heard about San Diego. But I don't, in all of the TwitchCons I've ever been to, the show floor is like the least important thing. I think that's a streamer point of view. I don't know if from a viewer point of view, or just like a fan point of view, if people care about a show floor at a thing like that, or if they're just there to like see streamers and hang out with streamers or have a chance to meet streamers. I don't really know.
The last time like they had it in San Diego, I don't remember coming away from the con being like, this con feels small. Like I've never looked at that, and maybe I'm looking at it differently just because I'm looking at it from like a functionality and being able to get around properly, especially with my wife who has to like navigate with like a wheelchair and stuff at these cons or a scooter.
Yeah.
Like I've never gone through and been like, this is a problem. We have so much space. Like there's still lots of people there. And that's the thing is like the optics of it from the outside, I guess if you had like a wide crane shot of the show floor and then saw, you know, that there was a lot of space to move around. This is an empty con. Like, no, there's still a lot of foot traffic there. That's not a bad thing to have space at your show floor. You know what I mean? Like at your con.
It was also big.
I don't know.
It was big at Vegas. The show floor felt big.
Yeah, it was very big.
Oh yeah. Big time.
I think that's a conscious decision too that I've seen like evolve year after year of the cons that I've been to for TwitchCon, where it does feel wider and more open, but in a good way. Not like this is empty in a ghost town. More like the vendors have space and so do the people walking around. Like they've done a really good job with that, and that was still the same way in Vegas.
Yeah,
100%. Couldn't say it better. Like what was really nice is even the biggest day was Saturday, and you could tell because when you were walking around, everyone had these yellow passes, and yellow passes were Saturday only passes, and there were tons of those people, and like it was really nice because even when it was packed, I mean, you'd look down, it was kind of like at this angle with all of the booths and stuff kind of interdispersed, and then they had like all the big stuff on the outer rim, and even when you were looking down like the main thoroughfare, there were tons of people, but at no point were they sardines. Like everyone was still able to easily move around.
Yeah.
And also you could go around the outsides if you wanted to. Like the outsides were a lot clearer. But I mean, they had like this huge, long snake-like thoroughfare. You could go down this really long hallway, which was great because a lot of people just go back there to chill and get lots of space. And that would go outside. I don't know if you went out there, Max, at any point. There was a whole outdoor area with food trucks and,
is this
and
like
beer
the partner
and umbrellas.
area?
No. This is
it's
off
just
the show
everyone.
floor. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Speaking of which, real quick, since you brought it up, they did a great partner area. Absolutely great partner area. Third floor away from everything. They had people checking badges all the way up. And like, there was just free food there the whole time, coffee, drinks, anything you could want. You could go up and get stuff and just walk out with it. It was, there was always people there to talk to and that you would know. And like, it was, it was the best one I've seen done so far, for sure. It was really, and they had a different one in a different building as well. That was like a 24-hour thing, which was super cool, which they kind of needed for Vegas.
Yeah, I guess. like a little rest.
But yeah, shout out to the crew at TwitchCon this time. Like with as many people, with as many things that could have gone wrong and as many people as there were there, I constantly was seeing crew running around, making sure things were going smoothly, making sure people could get around and stuff like that. It seemed like they definitely have become a very well-oiled machine in terms of running these things. But
yeah.
It's
like their 8th one now, I guess.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Gassy, I kind of said my piece on it, but I'm very curious. Like, how did you feel about TwitchCon? What was your general vibe? How did you enjoy it overall?
I mean, I echo a lot of the stuff that you said. I don't think there aren't things like that can be improved. I think they learn every single time. But I agree that the crew, at least the people, especially the staffers that we know that work at Twitch that are involved with like planning all that stuff, they are taking like, I've seen it year after year, take the feedback that I've given them, that my wife's given them, other partners in general, and taking it on board. And I think that it kind of goes to what you're saying in the shift that's happening with Twitch, hopefully, at least that it seems to be perceived, where for the longest time they've said nothing and they haven't communicated much. And it's bred this kind of like environment of like, warranted mistrust of what's happening and what's coming from Twitch and TwitchCon in the future. But from what I've seen, they're actually taking stuff on board and implementing it well. I see the con getting better, and I see, like this is the first time in a long time that we've had recent announcements off of TwitchCon that were like, this is dope. This is really cool. You know what I mean? Like, and they're not only just from the people that are at the con, but like from the outside optics, they're able to have that as a takeaway as well. So that's super cool. I hope they ride that momentum, and I hope it shifts the mindset that people have giving hopefully constructive criticism to Twitch, and encourages them to give more constructive criticism to Twitch because it's actually being enacted. Now, from the actual cons perspective, like being on the show floor, I was on there like not a lot, but enough to like get the layout of it. The artist alley looked really cool. They had a lot of space.
A lot of that on
a lot
stream.
of space.
Oh my
which is
Lord.
Great. And I think too, for the most part, it was pretty much free to be there. Like they just had to submit it, and then I think last minute they had to cover like some sort of tax thing that kind of cropped up. I heard about that, like that was from just like Nevada, Las Vegas, like being there. That was a thing that they had to cover or whatever.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like if they submitted and were accepted for a booth, they just had it. and that was a massive opportunity for a lot of artists that submitted for that thing. Like I know some of them that I talked to them personally. And they're like, yeah, we did some pretty good sales there. Like it was really cool being able to have that ability to have that presence, you know, of them being at the con, but then they also like they maybe collabed or partnered with another artist that was there and just had some wares, some merch, whatever. So that, from what I understand, worked really, really well. And the fact that they had that much space. Now, criticism I would give them, very minimal, if any, indie presence in terms of like games. There was no indie alley or indie like showcase that I was able to perceive.
What
a lot of the
games
stuff
were
that I
there?
checked out.
Because I heard there was like not very many.
Very few.
Not
There were
many.
a couple
not
bigger
many.
ones.
Okay.
It was very tech heavy.
Yeah,
So there was a lot.
Yeah.
Dude, there was a booth there, and I don't know how I feel about this. There was a booth there that was literally, its product was AI Twitch chatters to make your stream feel more alive.
What?
Ugh.
Yeah, they pulled me over and they were like
I know
wanting to
that.
show me everything, and I was like, I don't really wanna. This feels weird.
Is it?
Twitch chatters?
How
Yeah.
is it a?
The idea is that if you have a very slow chat, then the idea would be like you could put one of these chatters in. It would like ask questions.
What
and
do they
comment on
just
the game
like?
You're playing. And,
Do they just join the chat and be like, "What do you guys think about Trump?" what is
hey guys, what are your thoughts on Christianity?
like, what is the point?
What's
asking
going on
topic.
in Israel, huh?
What the
Crazy.
You don't even need AI for that.
Oh my
I didn't
god,
even know
dude.
that was a thing there. Ugh. No thanks.
Yeah, it was a little weird. Which was kind of funny since, you know, they made the big announcement that it's like, yeah, we're going to targetedly take care of embedding. Like, we've heard you, we're finally doing something about it. Like, which is super cool. So that was a little strange. I'm guessing if they were there, I'm guessing Twitch has some hard limits on them. Like, you can't order 600 AI bots.
That's
I'm sorry.
weird.
But yeah, it was a little strange. They were selling themselves kind of like they were a bot, which I'm guessing how they got away from it. So that the angle was that like, hey, need a bot for your chat? Like we can.
So it's like
Right, so it's less
labeled
like
as a bot.
fake
Okay.
viewers and more
more of like
evolution in bots.
a
I guess,
chat
for-
aggregator, you know, like let's make it interesting. So that was a
That's
little
still weird. You know, like though, if somebody goes like, I would like to use that for a bunch of people to pretend to be like they're a viewer chatting, they'd be like, okay, but maybe don't say that. They're not going to say no. Someone's using their product. You know what I mean? Like
That's weird. Yeah.
that's I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay.
But yeah, they didn't have much of a indie game presence. All the stuff that I checked out that was there, which is a few things. I wasn't too busy. I usually go into cons now with like a few appointments, and then I leave a lot of space open. Just that gets naturally filled up by way of it being a con and who's there and who you meet and run into. But I would like to see more of that because that's always really cool for at least from a creator standpoint, and I'm sure from a viewer and or just regular con goer that likes games to be able to stumble upon and wander through an area from people that will actually interact and are actually pretty desperate, you know, in a lot of cases to have people check out their game and word of mouth is everything for devs like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because it was just priced out because it was too expensive. I would imagine that was the case, but you'd hope in future years, at least if they, you know, San Diego, wherever it might be, they'll take hopefully this feedback on board and try to create a space for indies. I'd have to think it was some sort of thing like that where it's like a business decision, either where it was too expensive for the indies to get a booth and Twitch didn't carve out a space in the same way that they did for like the like Artist Alley or something like that. They certainly had the space on the floor to do it, like and shuffle some things around, which has me kind of going like, you know, and then you walk around and I saw there was like, again, you know, you got your sponsors and you got people that want to have a presence there. There was a Chevron booth.
Yeah, I saw a Chevron
I was like,
booth.
And
There was another
Twitch
one
was giving
too.
out like shell things.
Yeah.
Like something with a shell logo
it was
on it.
it
That
was
a little
weird, like really like propaganda.
And you know that esports show is like, you mother, like we get stuff thrown on us out here, and you're like over there like promoting.
Yeah.
Get gassed up for your con.
I did see a bunch of
recharge.
creators also doing some sponsored stuff. So if anything, they brought like creator sponsored gigs.
They did. No. That's how I found out about it. I was literally, I can't remember who it was. I'm not saving face for anybody's name or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, oh yeah, I haven't seen such and such. And they were like, oh yeah, they're at the Chevron booth. I'm like, the Chevron booth? Like, yeah, they're streaming from the Chevron booth. I'm like, okay, yeah, Chevron.
Okay, the
Right.
Chevron booth.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know if that played into it where Big Gas came in and took it away from the indies.
hopefully in that voice.
That's right. Let me tell you something about it. This is the gas con now, right? You're in Vegas, baby, where money talks.
Oh man,
they give you coupons for
I'm
not
targeted
driving
by
a
Big
Tesla.
Gas.
I know. I was gonna paint's just
true.
gonna come out of nowhere on the left side of Gassy's screen. Just cover him in paint.
Yeah.
One thing I will say that I feel that's very important to mention, as this has become more and more popular on Twitch lately, and again, just if you're considering going to TwitchCon, I think it's important. Artist Alley has been taken over by anime breasts.
Yes,
that's true,
dude. I
So
saw.
if you are a purveyor, for that alone, you may want to consider going to TwitchCon.
I think
the amount of boobas and butter.
Doesn't it go outside of Artist Alley though? Like, didn't they have?
Oh, it does for sure. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's literally a showcase back there.
Okay.
I mean, it's
All
just
right.
like it is impressive.
I would
It's
say
the only word I
like,
can think of.
I know there's a market there for all of that. And there's plenty of people that love the big boobas and
Absolutely.
animes and all that stuff. That's great.
100%.
I would like to see a little more variety. I hope that they like consider maybe it's a lack of people applying to like do Artist Alley stuff, but it would be nice to have a little bit more variety sprinkled in there as a con goer and a potential like customer, you know, have something else there. Trust me, there's gonna be anime booba and titties and things like that you can buy there, and that's totally fine. That's okay. But I'd like to see some other stuff in the Artist.
You want to see like?
I love how if you look closely, you can see Beth with the whip just off screen.
Yeah, what are we talking?
job,
You want to
Matt.
see like?
I said it.
Well said.
No.
Not the spray bottle. But no, I completely agree with Max. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love anime boobs, love them. But I mean, it really was like there are two sides. It was basically a W, and both sides of the entire W, and literally 90% of the stuff there was lewd anime. And it was great. It was great. But it would have like there's a lot of creative flavor on Twitch. It would have been kind of nice to maybe intersperse it. Maybe they like centralized it and concentrated it, which is why because I just did like one loop. But yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah, but it was cool. I still wandered through. I always wander through Artist Alley at least one point because I think it's great they do that. And there's always something like I bought like a Pokemon shirt or something. I have a Bulbasaur shirt that's like an embroidered thing and. It was cool. Got that. My buddy Junkyard 129, he did some woodwork stuff. He was one of the people that I was kind of like referencing. He partnered up with like another person who I think did like ceramic mugs or something. But anyways, he does like woodwork and stuff on the side. And he did really well. I'd like to see more of that kind of stuff where people have like, hey, this artist does, you know, woodwork or leatherwork, or they do paintings or they do, you know. But that's my own thing. That was just like my own thing I'd like to see more of. But I really want to see them hopefully bring indies back, like and have a space carved out for them.
It might have just been too expensive.
And I know that
100%.
Yeah, I think that's probably what was going on. So maybe if it comes back to San Diego and it's less expensive, whatever. On the word of less expensive, I hope to, for the sake of like, and this is coming, I guess, from a perspective of creators that get invited to like these parties and stuff. I can only imagine how expensive some of these parties were, having it just in Vegas. Because one of them like was there and it was really cool and they had like open bar and stuff. I'm not complaining. But the fact that like even at this party where they're like they can more than enough pay for stuff. I don't know if it was a Vegas thing or whatever, where they're like, no, you can only have open bar for so long. And then it switched over at the bar and they're like, $8, bottle of water, this big. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Even for, I get it to con, I get it's Vegas, but like, holy shit, $8 for a bottle of water. It had me the gears going like, how expensive is it for them to throw these parties?
So here's
on a medium scale for Vegas.
I can talk
Zeke
to how
rented
expensive
a bar
it is.
for a night.
That's also crazy. I heard about that. Yeah, it was all.
And then gave us all COVID.
Exactly.
That was the parting gift. Yeah.
He said, here, we're gonna have the themed Zeke drink. We're gonna have the themed Classy Katie drink, and then give him the COVID drink.
Yeah, and see, the reason I know it's that is
Jesus.
Zeke literally called us all into this big room, and in front of everybody gave a speech. And while he was doing it, he stripped. So he stripped down all the way to his boxers, and I was pretty convinced he was going to go past that before Katie jumped in. But then he then proceeds to put on a onesie of his face. The entire onesie was just Zeke faces. It was amazing.
Just cause?
And then, again, in classic Zeke fashion, we all went out, and that's when they were setting up the giant mechanical penis,
right?
Which was, yes, the mechanical bull that was a giant penis. So it was a very Zeke party.
That's a very Zeke party.
So, I mean, that's very Zeke party. It was really worked out great.
Yeah,
it was great. Had a great time. At a bowling alley. Yeah.
Max, that sounds like the most Zeke party I've ever heard.
It's very.
I
super,
think
yeah.
is it on Barry's Twitter where you can see Barry writing said mechanical?
If you would like to see Barry riding
structure.
mechanical,
we cannot show that on Twitch.
I'm
so
not
you
going
have
to
to
show
look at
it.
yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got to go look at that yourself.
It is very realistic.
I'll tell you this much: that man can ride a penis. I'll tell you this much: he rode it well, from what I could visually see.
Yeah,
I can't foresee that kind of thing happening without extensive practice.
As Laying Low says in chat, that's called the Montana Special. That whole situation. Yeah. No, Max, going back to Vegas prices. My wife she got like VIP to a party, went to the party, got a VIP table at a party just because of who she is at Riot. And she was like, oh, I'll just get bottle service. Like it's probably covered. Nope. And that was $1,200.
Yeah.
For a bottle of Tito's that cost $50. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's a
Vegas.
half decent markup. Is what that is.
That's
Yeah.
Vegas right there. It's generally like $700 for bottle service, and this was the $1,200 bottle service. Yeah.
Well, is it $1,200 or like that's the minimum that you have to hit kind of thing, so you can just get whatever that goes up to the thing, or is it $1,200 just for that bottle of
for that
Tito?
bottle and the ice and the glasses that come with it to be brought to your
you could
table.
also get the Tito's and the bottled waters, but that's $2,600.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
So
Lawman had the exact same story,
very
$1,200 for a 40 bottle of Grey Goose. Yeah. That's Vegas. That's how those clubs function.
So I know exactly what party you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, it was the Razor Dolce Gabbana
offline
party.
TV.
Listen,
Yeah.
I was happy to get an invite to it, but apparently so was half of Vegas. To get an invite to it,
Yeah.
you go up and you got a QR code. Like I responded, responsibly. I'm excited to get, hello, I have a QR code, and they're like, oh yeah, that's general admission. Get the. I'm like, okay,
Yeah. There
All right.
was.
Have a good night, sir. And
From
then we
my
went around the corner and found a
understanding-
place. It was much better.
My
There you
understanding
go.
there was 3 levels of VIP, and then general admission.
So like VIP, like bronze, silver, gold.
Yeah,
or
like
something?
if you were given
God.
an invite, that was general admission. If you were given a VIP invite, that was like the first tier, which means there was still a line, and that line took an hour or so to get through. And if
It was
you
a
were
long
given,
line regardless. Yeah.
if you were given
Unless
like
I'm
VIP,
sure the top-
VIP,
Yeah.
you actually just got walked in, and like got sat at your table and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, me and my crew definitely did not go to that party.
yeah.
We were also
You saw
hearing,
us. You saw us.
I did. Oh, that was that was after. There you go. Yeah, we
That was
actually
after.
we met
Yeah,
up
that
with
was that
Gassy and Burke and that whole team, and we hung out there for that. Was great. That was so much
it
more
was
chill.
way better than being like
Yeah,
in a
100%.
giant like club,
100%.
can't hear anything atmosphere.
Yep.
We just went around the corner and there was like a little cocktail lounge and they had like people dancing and music playing, but you could still hear each other talk. We just got a table there and we're like, this is 1,000 times better. So
And we literally, like me and my group came in, like a lot of them stayed behind, I think hung out with you guys. We were there for like half an hour maybe. And then literally 5 steps out of that place and you're just on the casino floor.
Yeah,
And we could
that's
just like
I saw
hang
a lot
out,
of
do what
that.
you wanted there. And yeah, that was pretty chill. That was pretty chill. So,
Yeah.
That's the one nice thing about Vegas is kind of like there's stuff happening everywhere, which is kind of nice. But at the same time, that's the double-edged sword because there's stuff happening everywhere. There's really no place stuff isn't happening.
Yeah.
Especially like late at night. So it's like, it's cool because you always have a place to go. But then the second you're done, you're done.
Yeah.
The only thing that I will say in positive about like the Razor Dolce Gabbana party thing was anytime it's a scenario like that at a con where it's kind of just really a clusterfuck and there's so many people, is just the people watching of everyone showing up and just going through the motions of like, you see all the different like the egos present. I'm like, well, I should be. I'm just like, I know it's shit here. Welcome to the show. And I'm sure some of those people, maybe they got their way in, they pushed forward, they talked to such and such and got in and stuff. But to me, it's always like the reward versus like, what is worth me staying here and trying to go talk to the bouncer and talk to whoever, you know what I mean?
Dude, Vegas
I'd
bouncers,
much rather
they're
just
another
go
beast,
somewhere
too.
else.
Yeah.
Like I have no misconceptions of like, I'm not like some crazy massive person where I need to be let in that party, but it's also me asking myself like, I want to be in that party. Anyways.
Yes. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Well said. Well said.
Happy to get an invite, but man, that was it was good for the people watching at the very least. And then we went, you know, the little cocktail lounge that was around the way.
Sounds like the way to go. Yeah.
And I mean, it's the kind of thing where if you really want to be in that environment, you're gonna have a good time in that environment. There were a lot of people that talked about loving that party. There were a lot of you know, they had a fantastic time. It's like more power to them, dude. You know, like that's it. It's a certain type of party. It's certain type of people will absolutely love. More power to them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the other side of the coin of like me talking. It was like, that's not my speed anyways, more so nowadays. Like I've done 100%. That when I was younger and I've had my fill of that. I've never liked the club in general, but like the only way I even was in a club was just by way of gaming nerdy parties where they happen to rent out a club. You know what I mean?
Max, what's that thing that we don't have anymore? Energy. We don't have energy for that anymore. I mean, you have it's almost like swimming. Like you have to tread water at those events. You have to maintain this certain level of energy the whole time to like, you know, be willing to scream at the person 1 foot from your face for the whole evening because that's the only way they're going to hear you. Like that takes energy, man.
I think that Razor party started at 11 p.m. and I think it went till I got a text at 5 a.m. that said I'm leaving. The party's finally like winding down. So I think it went pretty late, which is pretty standard. That's a standard thing for
I mean, it's Vegas too, right?
Yeah. Also, that was the party of the con. That was the big party. Outside of the Twitch public party.
What is the Twitch?
Actually amazing.
What's the Twitch? They did a public party.
So
they did partner party, and then
that was Area 15. Area 15.
That place is cool.
They had the partner party on the first night or second
Thursday,
night. And then the night after that, they had the public party where you did not have to be a partner to go to it.
Oh, and
they had it at this place called Area 15. And honestly, it almost beat the partner party. It was amazing. Area 15 is basically like an adult playground. And I don't mean that in the sexual sense. I mean, like it's entertainment for older people.
Yeah.
So like you walk in and there's like people on zip lines over you. There's like axe throwing over there. There's virtual golf there. There's an arcade there. There's 2 stages in the back there's like bars. There was this whole ARG shopping mart. And you walk into
the Omega Mart?
Omega Mart.
Yeah,
you walk into this place and it's like all these weird items, but then you start noticing weird stuff and people start handing you cards. And then all of a sudden you're opening like a fridge and it's a path into like some kind of weird trippy room with all sorts of weird lighting. And it just gets more, you could spend 5 hours just in the Omega Mart. Place is wild.
I didn't go to that party because one, I wasn't sure what the Twitch like paid like, hey, party ticket was going to be. Cause in the past it's been kind of hit and miss. So I just skipped it. But I'm glad that I was at Area 15 literally the day before for a different party that had rented out like Omega Mart. And so we got like dinner in the place. So I got to see the lay of the land with a lot less people. You know what I'm upset about Omega Mart though? I realized way too late that the phones that they had there with the extensions, you can call any of those extensions in the whole place. And if I knew that earlier, there's an area where you can have like, they have like cameras that can observe different spots. I would have taken down these numbers and just mess with people coming through the whole time. That would have been I was able to get one of our friends. They didn't realize I called one of the phones while we were kind of like, I was across the way and I was just like playing along as if I was some pre-recorded thing. And then I told him to look at me and find the man with the cup or whatever. I would have been doing that all night. That would have been me all night if I knew that.
Oh, that is so cool.
It was very cool.
That is so cool.
So Vegas has cool attractions, it turns out.
Yeah.
They do.
That's one thing.
More importantly, Twitch took advantage of it, which was cool. That was nice to see. Like they actually, like I'd never really heard. I funny enough, I had seen Omega Mart on TikTok. I had no idea what it was, and then like I'm standing in line for it, and I was like, wait a second, like I think I know what this place is, and just it all kind of like that was pretty wild.
Yeah, I would hope they do more of that kind of stuff where it's like a little more creative, cool environments that's fun for people to just kind of explore in and then talk amongst themselves or whatever.
Bingo.
Yeah, the Meow Wolf stuff. That's the people. Apparently, that's like just a dude who had a bunch of money, just paid a bunch of artists in a bunch of different regions of this. I think at least the nation to set up stuff like that, like artist installations that were like creative, and that's one of them. The Omega Mart, and they have like other ones throughout. People can correct me if they're wrong, but I think that's what it is. Super cool. That was my first time being to any of that kind of stuff from Meow Wolf.
Yeah.
And man, the people that work there too are great. They're having a great time.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
We rode the elevator, and not to spend too much time here, but we rode the elevator to get up to the next floor, and it's one of those double-sided elevators, and clearly the other side opens up to like their office. Now, whether or not it's a functioning office, I'm sure it's probably a little bit both. but it's definitely themed out to look like the theme there is like there's this big corporation sort of thing in the background that runs this Omega Mart and whatever. And as we were going, the other elevator opened and we thought it was like where we were supposed to go. It's an office and you see people like in their lab coats and gloves. And one of them has their head that's like a flower and stuff, like clearly an experimentation that's gone wrong. Like and they're just kind of like, hey, and some staff is coming in to, I think, actually functionally ride the elevator to where she needs to go. She's like, oh yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I'm like, that looks cool. And you just see the people like going like, hey, like, don't worry about that. That's fine. No. You don't want to see what's back there. You don't want to see what's back there.
That's
like,
cool
but it
part.
looks cool.
Yeah. That stuff sounds fun. Well, with all that said, Cohh, you brought up the Dan effect. Dan Clancy, new CEO, was kind of everywhere. I saw him pretty much every IRL stream I watched over the weekend. He was in some way, shape, or form a part of, whether it was Knut's wedding, where he was the keyboardist who played the music during that entire thing, or any of the stage shows. Yeah, any of the stage shows he was a part of. He definitely has the like cool CEO vibe down, and like clued in CEO vibe down. And it struck me, and it was, I can relate to it because someone asked him, it might have actually been Knut at his wedding, who's another streamer who got married at TwitchCon, or rather in Vegas while at TwitchCon. And he basically asked him, like, he said, like, it's really cool that you're doing this. Twitch hasn't had a CEO, or they kind of basically straight up said, like, Emmett sucked at this. Like, Emmett didn't do any of this. And Dan was like, well, that's not Emmett. Like, Emmett isn't a personable dude. Like, he's not outgoing. He's an engineer. And I agreed with that. And then he goes, back in the day, this is like 2017, 2016, there was someone named Kevin Lynn who worked at Twitch. He was one of the originators of Twitch. And Kevin Lynn did what I'm doing now. And he totally did, because he was on this fucking show doing exactly what Dan's doing right now. And he said that got stopped in 2017, and our communication and PR went a different route. And so it just hasn't existed. And we've been way too like restrictive in everything that we've been doing. And that's where it like really resonated with me, because he is 100% correct. Where he came on our show at TwitchCon, funny enough, in 2017. And after that show, Twitch was like, yeah, he said some stuff that he wasn't supposed to say, and we're just gonna unfortunately, he's not gonna be allowed to come on the show anymore. And that was that. And that was like 2017. And I think if you look, 2017 to like 2022-ish, pre-Dan Clancy at Twitch, they didn't have anyone like that. And it's very true.
You killed it. You killed it with this show.
Yes, that drop frames.
We're looking for that point, that jump off point, that singularity.
Maybe.
And it was you on this show.
I like how the guy that brought COVID to TwitchCon is trying to take the spotlight off.
That's true. Yeah. Fuck you, Max.
Play.
You got everyone sick.
Come on, man. Nice try. No. I mean, could have been absolutely right. But no, what's super cool is not only are you absolutely right, but the thing that makes Dan such a perfect fit is like Dan has the CEO background. He's got all the business savvy that you need. He's also got a theater background.
Oh,
so I mean, this is a guy that is not only just a good dude, but he's great in front of people. He knows the ins and outs of the companies he works with. And like, again, he's exactly what Twitch needs right now, which is essentially like a DJ Wheat style character, but for the company as a whole. DJ Wheat was amazing. And he will always go down as one of the best faces of Twitch we've ever had.
I was going to mention
him DJ Wheat. Oh.
No, I'm just saying, I'm glad you mentioned him. Sorry to interject.
No,
DJ Wheat did a bunch of like that other stuff that we were talking about, just being a face of Twitch is what I was saying. And when they lost that was also a part of this.
Yes. But the interesting thing with DJ Wheat is there's kind of two parts of Twitch. There's Twitch the company, and there are the creators on Twitch. And DJ Wheat was the face of the creators on Twitch. He was the definition of bleed purple. His entire perspective at Twitch was fighting for creators. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but that's not the direction Twitch went. As we all know, like this is the last 5 years that we've been talking about. Like Twitch didn't really go in that direction.
Yeah.
And now DJ Clancy has come in, and he is like kind of what DJ Wheat was, but with the Twitch focus. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because to be blunt, that's what Twitch needs right now. They need a spokesman that can speak well, that can enunciate, they can go out into the community and become a part of it. And it's really freaking working. They did.
Yeah.
I literally cannot think of a better person they could have hired for that position.
Yeah. Now we have no idea internally and at the
DJ
company.
Clancy.
DJ Clancy, there you go. Yeah, we have no idea internally and at the company, like, how that's going. I have not spoken to any Twitch employees to be like, yeah, how is Dan as CEO? But externally, I 100% agree with Cohh. Like he is he's saying all the right things and he's doing all the right things. And the keynote, did either of you watch the keynote? Did you have a chance to check it out?
I was happening while out, doing stuff.
One of the like, it was one of the oddest things that I never actually realized I kind of wanted to hear from Twitch, from a company that, we've all been streaming on for almost a decade, if not more than a decade for a lot of us, was this like, fuck yeah, we're Twitch. And that entire keynote, when Dan came out, there was this like aggressive stance of like, yeah, fuck it. You can stream on every platform because we know we're the best. Here you go.
Yeah.
You can now simulcast on everything. And you know why? Because we're the best at community, and that's what drives Twitch. Have fun. And that was across the board.
A significant difference between arrogance and confidence.
Yes, 100%.
And that, I think, is one of the big things that Clancy did well. Because I saw clips from that. And it's one thing to be excited about what you are and be confident in what you are. It's another to be like, middle finger to you guys, we're the big fish.
Yeah,
deal with it.
Totally.
So that was definitely a good angle that was felt by many people. For sure.
Yeah. And I think keynote's worth watching, especially if you're a streamer.
I want to watch it.
Get that feeling for sure when Dan was talking.
I want to say too, like, obviously, Dan didn't come into this role, from my memory of him coming in too. It's just like he wasn't like this when he first came in. So maybe I'm hoping it's layers of the onion of Dan the person that have been peeled back, and Twitch then internally, and like, from a corporate strategy, or like, this makes sense for us to do. Go be yourself within these parameters, and that works. You lean into it, exactly. Like, I'm hoping that's what it is. The other side of my brain says, okay, hopefully it's not, something that they're just trying to do to have the optics be better because they recognize that Twitch has had a problem communicating all that. Either way, I'm not complaining. It's doing good stuff. You know what I mean?
That's the boat
I have to. Yeah, no, that's the key. No, I'm not complaining. I don't want this to be. It's hard for me when you've only had this for like now the last year or so, after such many years of not having it. You know what I mean? It's just the flip side of my brain, and where I can't really completely turn off a little bit of the skepticism and cynicism. That said, Dan was everywhere. He was doing everything. Like, I don't have the stamina to do what he was doing at that con. So all the credit and respect to him for doing that and taking that on, whether it be, because it's what he wants to do, or because it's what they decide is tactically smart, or a bit of both, or, you know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm saying. Is I'm having that something is happening, that we're having cool announcements, that you get this feeling, JP, and are able to jump on this show and say, this is something I haven't seen in a while from a keynote, and from top brass at Twitch, people who actually can make a decision and change things, and do. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm not trying to come off and be like, but what is really happening at Twitch?
No.
I think I'd be remiss to not give the counterpoint.
Look, in the past,
we've had no idea.
Glad. Yeah.
I'm super glad you said something, because what you said is exactly the process I went through as well with Dan, where it's like, is this all just some kind of obfuscation? Is this some kind of trick? Is this just another PR move?
That happened on this very show.
We've talked about that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting because, like, after this TwitchCon, just like Gassy was talking about, like, I've come to the conclusion where it's like, you know what? Even if it is, it still feels good. Like, even if this is like a big PR pivot, and it's purely to make Twitch look better, it's working.
Yeah
It's working. And it's like, at that point, you just like, don't look a gift horse in the mouth kind of thing. Like, it's just like, cool, if it's working, if it's good, if this is just the pivot you needed to do, you clearly found the guy to do it. Like, ride this wave, man. Let's ride this for as many years as we can, because it's been kind of rough the last few years. Like, let's turn the train around a little bit.
It's still having an effective good across the board in a lot of different ways.
Exactly.
And this doesn't mean that Twitch all of a sudden just doesn't have problems that it needs to fix or whatever. And we've all just drank in the Kool-Aid because like, wow, this is great. But it's good to see a positive change after so much negative and silence and just being disconnected from what is supposed to be the biggest thing at Twitch, or was in the years past, from its origin and growing forward, and helped it grow to what it is community. Having this sense of like, this is more than just a place where I click live and whatever, that was always the special thing with Twitch. Of course, there's the business side of it and all the other stuff and minutia, but the thing that always drove Twitch for me and for a lot of us that grew on the platform from the very beginning days was this sense of community. This is something special. And so you take care of that thing that's special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to do that. I understand too, with like corporate growth and numbers and
You got Amazon looming over you.
Yeah, exactly. Both at the same
Exactly.
Like Amazon just like looming over you like a spider, like, make this part do better, make this part do better.
Exactly.
Like, more money. But no, it's
hard
great
enough even when you don't have something like Amazon in the mix, right? I'm sure. And so like you've just said too, that's the conclusion I've come to. Even if it's not 100% genuine and it's coming from a place of like maybe some tactics and like, let's use this strategy, it's working and it's having a positive change. So as long as hopefully they keep that going and there's stuff to back it up. My biggest thing that I said at any of these roundtables to Dan and Mike and all these other C-level executives is like, I have no reason to believe anything you're saying. This is early. And then I would echo it, as we had more and more. I have no reason to believe anything you're saying is actually going to happen. It's good to have these words and have all the words, nice words saying that you're listening and stuff. But until you actually make active change, until you make actual actionable change that we see, that is palpable, there's no reason for me to trust you. I would love to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and I'm hoping now that we're actually seeing this stuff manifest. Things like being able to tweet, stream across multi platforms, and hopefully more of that kind of thing, where it's something like, good, this thing is good. More of that, please.
Yep.
So I'm giving them credit for that, and I'm hoping that it sustains and continues to go forward.
Yep. We can kind of go through some of the stuff that was announced real quick at the keynote. Stories went live on Twitch. I think all of us, Cohh, have you? I know me and Max are using it, and I have thoughts on it. Have you used Stories at all? Are you utilizing them?
I think like once or twice I like put a clip up there to see how it would do, and it did like 8x the views that was on the clip. So I mean, clearly people were looking at it.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to use them.
Same.
We may do some automation at some point. We're kind of looking into different. There's not really a verbose API, so I think that it's a cool way for discovery. I will say that I have seen more and more like mid and growing creators that are using it. I'll see them pop up at the top of my follow list, and then I'll just happen to notice that it, maybe I'll click on it when I see it go live like 1,000. I'll click on it later, it's like 25,000 views. Yeah. And it's like, to have that kind of tool available for them is pretty awesome. This is the exact kind of tool though that needs to go mainstream to work. Like it needs to be in implementation and being used for like months to years to like, it needs to become part of the culture. So, and I hate sounding like a broken record on this, but it's like, we'll have to see if Twitch sticks with it. So it's like, unfortunately, Twitch is, as most people know, Twitch's track record with, they tend to come up with something interesting or cool, but it really needs long-term support to become part of the culture, and they just stop developing it. And we kind of see that over and over and over. So I think Stories is interesting. Yeah. I think I'm almost a little gun shy leaning into it, knowing the track record. I don't really want to start like really getting involved in it and really start getting to use it and then just have them kind of taper off like most Twitch stuff. But it's cool. And I mean, it's interesting. So
yeah. I think me and Max have been using it for the same use case so far. And I don't think that's how Twitch intended for it to be used. The use case that we're using it for is taking a clip that's being like, hey, today we're going to do blah, blah, blah. Come on, join the stream. And that's that. And like the fact that it persists for 48 hours after that, and it shows that before the more recent one, it's kind of pointless. But I have had a bunch of people join the stream and be like, hey, I came here from your story that you posted. So it's definitely getting in front of people that it hasn't been in front of or aren't getting notifications that the stream's going live, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And it from their like post, it seems like they're wanting it to exist as a way for streamers to talk to their audience when they're not streaming, to be like, hey, I'm having a cheeseburger. Here's a photo of a cheeseburger type deal.
But so my biggest immediate knee-jerk criticism of it was, and I don't know if it was intentional or if it just wasn't ready, like the fact that you can't record any video at all.
It has to be a clip
other than just a clip.
To it, yeah.
It has to be a clip. So in order to even just do what we just said, you have to like be on stream, be like, hey guys, we're live, blah, 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 and then go like clip. Okay.
Yep.
Let me get this. Okay. Now let me put this as a clip. Okay. I'll just put the title as we're live. I don't know, whatever. Yeah. And then go into the app and then go recent clip, select that. Like, why wouldn't you just let me hit record on there? I mean, I guess that's cool that I can do the other thing. I don't want to get rid of that other thing because that's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would imagine it's coming. I just wonder if it was an intentional choice initially. It's strange too, because if you're about to go to a con and you know you're about to release that as you're going to the con, you think it might be a priority to allow people to share the moments as it's happening at the con, just as full advertisement of what it's like on the ground floor at TwitchCon. I don't know. I'm certain if they haven't already talked about it, that's coming.
Yep.
I would use that more for that kind of a thing.
Yeah, they're going to add ability to upload film short videos, tag other streamers, add links, GIFs, and polls.
I will say, if they give the Shorts program a quarter of the resources Guest Star got, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Like with as much promotion.
Actually, Cohh, it's not called Please Be On Brand. It's no longer called Guest Star. You saw that, right?
It's not?
No, they renamed it. That was part of the keynote. What did they rename it to? Oh, it's called Stream Together. That's now the name of it.
Let's talk about.
So wait a second.
I thought that was something different. If it's called
Stream Together, what do you call when two streamers are just streaming together without using?
Oh, they're just streaming together without capitalization on stream together. Mm-hmm. Duh.
Who okayed this? Really? That's really it? It's no longer.
It's right here. Yeah, we've adjusted our focus with Guest Star to prioritize streamer-to-streamer collaboration. Because of this change, we're now calling Guest Star Stream Together.
You know what vibes that has? That has Mark Zuckerberg calling it meta vibes. That's what that is. Where they're just like, let's just take something that exists and we'll just make it ours without anyone's permission. Like that? No, come on, man.
It's a little strange. That being said, it's getting used a lot at least amongst like certain spheres, I guess, of Twitch. Dan was doing Dan things and popping around on Stream Together streams the other day, and like just impromptu like podcasts were starting on like S-Fan's channel, where people would just pop in from the chat as long as they were like a partnered streamer, and he'd click OK. And then the overlay just loads into OBS, and it's like a very Twitch sterile graphic presented podcast where people just join immediately. And that's kind of cool. It's fun to see that. I don't know if that's going to be a thing that like everyone's going to utilize. I think you have to be kind of somewhat of an extrovert to just be like, I'm going to go join a stream with 10,000 viewers to talk.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't fuck that. That's terrifying. I don't want to go on there and say the wrong thing. That's a nightmare. But the fact that it exists is cool. It says in the blog post, you can configure guest layouts for Stream Together with either a full screen grid or like a film strip mode. So it's on the side. So if you have like a main focus of a game type deal, there's also Stream Together where it's audio mode, so you can just have people join your stream via audio only, which I guess is a way for them to kick like Discord out of the whole ecosystem. So you're just using Stream Together, where it's all kind of in the same ecosystem, and it's got like, hey, we're streaming right now with GassyMexican, Cohh, and itmeJP all in the same stream, and you can click all the stuff on the stream and find all of their things easy on Twitch, all in one place, instead of like, oh yeah, let me set up a Discord call or let me set up a VMX call, that type of stuff. Is it going to be the type of thing that works?
So
I don't know.
Can you use your own graphics yet?
That I don't know. Let's see here.
I guess would be no.
If you probably not. I think Gassy's right. If you could use your own graphics, is this product moving in a direction that, as somebody who uses a lot of stuff like this, JP, like is there is there even an inkling in your eye yet of like, yeah, I might use this one day?
Not until I can put graphics on it.
Let's assume you could.
Potentially. I mean, it depends what the benefits are for having everything on Twitch. Like,
yeah,
they talked about how one of the things is shared viewership to reflect the combined viewership of everyone streaming together. So instead of like for drop frames, for example, it's usually like I don't know the number, 60, 20, 20 between me, Cohh, Zeke, when we're streaming the show. But if it's shared viewership, then we all have all of our viewership combined for our metrics, I guess, is how
I'm
they're
curious about that and how
yeah,
that
that's
works too.
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
I heard about that.
The working there would, I guess, be that just everyone benefits.
I guess.
I can't, like, sure, some would benefit more than others, but technically everyone benefits to some degree.
Yeah.
So it's not like someone would be getting less.
Right.
So, I mean.
So that's a cool thing. And then they brought up the way I look at it is kind of the golden goose, right? They're going to have the option to merge chats from all the streams that are collaborating. And they have to figure out how to do that. And he was very frank with like, that's kind of hard to do.
I really hope that they wouldn't maybe combine them, maybe add a new one. Because I mean, some people are always going to want to stay in their home chats, but I think some people would definitely want to migrate to the big group chat.
Yeah.
Especially if like us three were only monitoring the big group chat.
Right.
Like, it's a much more communal, cohesive thing. But at the same time, you don't want to like take people's chats from them.
Yeah, it has to be an additive thing.
It has to be an additive thing. Exactly right. But
yeah.
I think having an added, I think anytime you do one of these, for it to spawn a chat, kind of like whenever you have a Discord call, it just makes a little chat room for that call. Like, I think that would be awesome. And then in that chat room, like everyone's follow and emotes and sub emotes would be for like the channel they're coming from, or where, there's a lot of cool things they could do with that.
That'd be the best use case for it, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think people, myself included, would like having all of a sudden just your chat, your home base that you're maybe just wanting to be in ripped away.
Disappear.
Because streamer has enabled stream together mode and now that's no longer an option. Right.
Yep.
From what I've heard functionality wise from people that have used it though, like Geskar, I know it was like shoved down a lot of people's throats and they were promoting it heavily. There's good functionality there. And even Barry mentioning, I didn't know this, that you can grab individual sources from
I was about to show.
And kind of plug them in. So that's neat. I'm wondering if how new that is, or if that's something that came with the announcements of rebranding it to Stream Together or whatever. That's cool.
This right here, individual browser sources. So we just kick the idea. That's an interesting.
Whoa. Easy.
We just stop using vMix and instead I just like do this. But I guess that would mean that you guys go live. The workflow there in my head is like you guys would go live
and we would connect to you. Oh wait, do we have to be live?
You have to be live as well because it takes your stream feed and feeds it into the show. Oh, the guests don't need to be live. Oh, I'm sorry. Barry says the guests don't need to be live.
Oh wait, no, of course not, because people can join the shows that are ongoing, and they don't need to be live on their own channel for that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess there could exist this show where I would just take the browser sources that are there from the Twitch backend and plug them in.
It's almost like you need some kind of like push to give it a try, like maybe from the company that makes it.
I really need
like financial push of some kind.
It's true. It's true. Or like, I mean, there's a lot of things they could do, but
no, it's cool. Yeah. It's great. I will say this. Regardless, even if we don't end up using it, regardless of if we use it, period, it's nice to finally see Twitch be like, you know what? We're making something, we're sticking with it, and we're just going to keep developing it until it's something cool.
Yep.
I mean, from what it started as to what it is now is like two different products. So credit to them. Like that's another one of those refreshing changes to see where it's like, sure, we may not use it, but this is very like seeing this makes me just a little bit more excited for the story stuff. Maybe they'll stick with that too, right? Maybe we'll see that turn into something awesome that we're all using regularly.
Yeah.
From
everyone that I talked to, they've all said that like Guest Star was a very big push from Dan internally. And for better or worse, like he's keeping the product updated. He's changing things.
If you're going to keep the product and push it.
Yeah.
At least it's being supported, and there's some cool stuff. Like to reiterate, literally what just Cohh just said. Like that's what you want to see, rather than just historically Twitch axing the product and being like, "Well, that failed." You know.
Yeah.
I'm still. I don't know if you guys feel. I liked Chance. I thought that was neat. I know.
Yeah, there's a lot of products
Chance
that are all just
but,
like the same thing.
Well, I don't even know if a lot of people didn't like Chance. What did you guys feel about Chance? Did you use it at all? It might have been a nothing product.
Oh, I got very
I used it in the sense to get people.
I thought you were talking about soda popping, and I'm like, what did you do?
No, Chance with the TS.
Yeah, Chance
Using
TS.
soda
I don't.
What is
I don't think we ever got access to it on our channel, to be honest.
I don't even know what
like
Chance is, dude. What is it?
We used it all the time. It was like a thing where you could get the chat to like just click, and they would like reiterate whatever this chant was. Like if like a mod started a thing.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of interesting like cases for it, just to get the chat involved rather than just having to type a bunch of stuff. They could click this thing, and then all of a sudden this like thing's happening in chat. But I don't know. Some of my mods are salty about it. I still thought it was neat. But it's an example of something that they brought up, they used, and they were like, rather than reworking this or trying to figure out maybe a better way. I don't even know what their reasoning was for it. It didn't make sense, if I remember correctly. Where I was like, that doesn't make sense.
From what I heard,
I think you just wanted to go away.
Well, yeah, from what I heard about Chance, there was a lot of mixed reception because some people love participating, but if you didn't like participating, then it literally ruined your chat experience.
Yeah.
So it was this thing where it was making some people happy, but it was actively making other people unhappy. So I mean, when you're looking for features, obviously you want to put towards stuff where if it's going to make some happy, at least it's not going to piss other people off. You know, there's a nice little balance there. So I remember hearing, because I don't remember if we got asked about it or something, but I remember when we were talking about it publicly, it was kind of like, I don't know if we'd ever want to use this. That encourages spam where some people may not want it. And that's not good for those people. You know, like it's a
but then there's good use cases for being able to, for the flip side of that, like I said, like if people who want to be involved but don't want to type or can't type, you know, whatever, like can click something and be part of like a thing that happens. So again, I guess it just comes back to rather than reworking it and be like, let's take another look at that. They were just like, So
well, for instance,
it's good.
It's all the same message, right? So they could have just made it so you could turn off Chance on your side if you didn't want to.
Exactly.
See it.
Yeah. If you didn't want to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
The 2 years ago, there's a tweet from Twitch support that got linked to me. It says, "We will turn off Chance. While this feature was popular, we observed negative impacts to minutes watched for significant groups of creators. Experiments help us test new ideas in real time and decide what to build next. Thanks for sharing your feedback with us." So I guess the minutes watched is probably like their most important analytical. I'm not saying it as like a bring back Chance. Yeah. It'll never happen. Like I'm just saying as an example of a product that came up rather than reworking and taking a look at it, just getting rid of it. That's kind of just been what Twitch has done for a lot of things. Give me hosting back. I hate the idea that I can't
like
fucking host a giant stream and have my small little chat. It's stupid.
that came up when I was having dinner with Dan a while back about hosting, and he said there was far too much confusion. No matter how much you would tell people
between a host and a raid,
you did it, there was just people coming into a stream and not realizing it's the streamer. And the amount of complaints like that Twitch would get from people that were like, I donated to this guy, but I then later learned that it wasn't real and I didn't know that, and then Twitch gets put in this weird position, and it's like apparently it was a huge back end issue.
Yeah, weird. Okay.
So they got rid of it because people are stupid, essentially.
Well, it all comes down to like UI.
I don't want to blow your mind, Gassy. The amount of things that get stopped because people are stupid. This thing's entire companies, entire corporations go under because people are pretty dumb. So especially kids like and Twitch is even more susceptible because like literally Twitch is all the people that use it and talk and participate on the platform. That literally the customer is Twitch at the end of the day. So if they're having major issues like that, you know, Twitch has to at that point gank systems like they did. So
they also announced some more this we use, I think all three of us use different custom animation alert things, but they're continuing to push Twitch alerts, which I think is great. The fact that that's all in-house and it's for newer folks to the platform and folks that want to start streaming, it's built in. That's fantastic.
That's good. Yeah.
They're also going to have alerts for third-party enabled interactions like tipping, more control and insights for ads. The chat countdown will be visible to moderators now. You'll have new insights in the ads manager for all of that. They're going to do another September, but in December this year.
September.
I guess. Yeah, I think Mary Kish was saying that. I don't know if that's the
cool.
official brand for it, but that's cool.
I don't know exactly what they're doing for it, but like that's cool that something is happening when they when they usually don't for December.
Yep.
I think it's like a holiday thing, which is really cool then.
This was a very interesting timed announcement that they are adding doxing and swatting to the list of off-service conduct behaviors that they will enforce against. So kind of yeah.
Goodbye. What is it? Sharpshooter Mink or whatever her name is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's our shooter. That's our alt account. That's
it is now.
That's the one still active on YouTube, right? That's the one they're still paying her with. Oh my god.
Oh man. This one's pretty cool. Channel level chat warnings. So instead of just like timing out the message, you can anonymously warn chatters for a first-time offense. And they're going to use like I think 3-strike warning, or this is part of what they're saying is like a 3-strike warning. Kind of an interesting way to go about that. I think if anything, the thing when you time someone out, the first immediate thing that happens is the chatter says, hey, why did you time that out? And so if you can give them a way to like warn them and then say, here is a rule or something like that, rather than just timing them out without any sort of
also
conversation.
Then hopefully trackable.
Yeah.
Too, to be like, you were warned, we have record in the back end for mods and stuff to be like, no, I see that this warning is from X mod saying this in the chat log. So more things for mods to point to so people can't just use that playing dumb like, well, I wasn't told. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just got timed out, etc.
Yeah.
And it's also on the mods too to do that. Like if you are running your channel and be like, hey, warn them, let them know what you're doing, because that should be standard, but
this
can run
system is one of those ones that I definitely hope they keep developing.
Yeah.
Because it's a really cool concept. But I mean, there's times, for instance, that it's not exactly disadvantageous. Is that a word? Sure. But sometimes when somebody gets warned, you might want the rest of the chat to see that.
Right.
Like, because a lot of times that kind of passive osmosis of the rules can kind of help people understand, how that channel functions and how it operates, especially on like big days, if you have an influx of new viewers. So it would be interesting if this system like could be used in private, for small things, but then it'd be also kind of nice if you could like make some public. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So box for both warn in chat and post in chat, and also in their whatever, back end thing to warn the viewer itself. That seems like it would work perfectly.
Yep. Tie that into the exactly like Max just said, tie that into the newer mod tracking system, which they've just spent the last 2 years kind of laying the groundwork for. Have that all plug in so mods can easily track and see how many warnings somebody's got. So you can easily tell if somebody is like clearly breaking the rules or maybe just doesn't know. Yep. Because obviously that's completely two different things. So yeah, I mean it's another good step in the right direction. I really hope they make this one long term and really work. It'd be very cool.
I agree.
Tie this system into Twitch alerts. Have it as an option where we want to make an example out of somebody. Visual alert comes up. X username gets banned. His, Twitch chatter head gets beheaded, and in the garbage it goes.
Boom.
And now your excessive profanity. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Yeah. Oh man, there you go, dude. 10. He literally watch Twitch's system be based on him. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, excessive profanity will literally have like a public execution of a chatter where it will like put what the person said on the stream. And then the chat will vote oui or no if the person gets executed. And then if he is, the chatter gets his beheaded and banned from chat forever. It's like a literal public execution.
That's an actual thing. Okay.
It is an actual thing. He's
that.
a pioneer. Yeah, he's a pioneer.
Well, that's the thing. More updates for AutoMod with, they're calling it smart detection. It tailors AutoMod to your channel by learning from the moderation actions that you and your mods take. Cool. That's a cool thing. As long as you don't have like jokey mods though. Because then it's
real quick. I like people in chat being like, is what that streamer's doing allowed? Is that okay? Can you do that? Yeah. And the answer is for now.
Yeah.
It is for now. Yeah. We'll see.
This one's a fun one. An update to Twitch embeds. I feel like they should have just been like, hey, Extra Life, Cathalion, this is all for you. This segment,
Yeah.
We're going to call this here we go.
Been a long time coming.
They're introducing a change to the embed policy to prohibit autoplay when the Twitch stream is not a substantive meaningful component of the page. For sites
no. Chat, Gathalion has been advocating for embedders to be removed. He does not embed himself.
Yeah.
No.
I can see
the confusion there.
Yes, many people, including myself, have been advocating for this embedding thing to be changed on Twitch's side.
Yeah.
You can only get so mad at the people doing the embedding, for the record.
Twitch allows it.
Yeah, sure, it's a little scummy, but Twitch allows it. And this is the first time we've ever seen Twitch be like, we are changing it. Sorry, JP, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No. Yeah, I'm glad if there was confusion, I'm glad there's no longer.
There's a good distinction to be made there, yeah.
Absolutely. For sites that do not comply with this policy, we'll disable autoplay for embed starting November 15th. You can find more details in our developer forum. So, yeah, hopefully this helps with that whole thing. I think that, the person that comes to mind right off the bat, Fexter Life, but he's not the only embedder on Twitch. There's a lot of folks that embed. And I think I hope this is like the first step to a lot of different things on the platform. I think people that, run VODs during a drop campaign in a game directory and sit at the top of the directory while not even live, I think that's kind of scummy and could be looked at.
Directory enforcing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There's a lot of stuff that could hopefully be enforced and changed and looked at and kind of help in the long run.
Real quick, because I think I do it all the time. It's very easy for us to forget that not everyone knows what embedding is.
Sure.
The big thing about embedding is that embedding is putting Twitch streams in web pages that people are viewing, and almost in all cases, the people viewing those web pages do not even realize that they have a stream open. And then that is adding artificially to the views of that stream in the live directories. And what that does is, over years of time, those streams will get organic growth because they are artificially inflating their numbers to the top of directories of hot new games, of gift sub things that devs are doing, of drop programs, of all these things. And the reason that streamers are so frustrated with it, again, we're frustrated at the people who do it because those people are screwing everyone below us. That sucks. But the real issue, the heart of the issue, is that Twitch has allowed this to go on for actual years.
Yeah.
So this is the first time that we're seeing from an infrastructure side, Twitch go, okay, we're going to start doing this from a spot perspective, and then we are going to grow that out to a policy perspective at a later date. The issue here also, and it's important that people know this, Twitch uses embedding by itself, and a huge percentage of Twitch esports revolves around embedding.
Yeah.
So they cannot just go, okay, we're turning off embedding. They can't do that because there's a lot of back-end machinations that have relied on this for almost the entire duration that Twitch has existed.
Twitch
so it's
itself,
not quite like it's not an on-off system.
Yeah, Twitch in a lot of ways was like built on embeds, right? Like the Team Liquid streamer column thing is like probably the majority of my initial views on the platform were from that fucking embed. Streamers can get frustrated and call out specific streams and be like, you're embedding, that sucks. But you always need to keep in mind that, it kind of sucks those people are being kind of scummy, but they're only being able to do that because Twitch has allowed it. And just, don't also too, try to crucify people over it when they're technically acting in the rules. Yeah.
In a world too, like when you're, sponsors and publishers and people in PR firms that are working to hand out like activations and stuff that's based off of a CCV, like your viewership, and that becomes very, very important, especially when those firms and stuff are just, their financial department just looks at the raw numbers. They're not going to see where these numbers are coming from. So people literally can just get a bigger paycheck for sponsored stuff by just going, bloop, now I have these numbers. You know what I mean? Like that sucks for the rest of us that aren't doing that.
And there's also a lot of PR companies that are very unhappy that Twitch allows that because it totally skews their metrics. And that's like
they're becoming a little more wise to it as well. I mean, like, well, okay, because again, then it has a harmful effect of like, well, these people are hiring everybody else that's not doing embeds and stuff. They start to become more wary about just Twitch numbers in general. Like, how many of these people are actually even there? Is this a good environment for us to advertise, or at least advertise and pay as much into as we have been? So that's some other negative like effects that can happen as a result.
and we could do a whole show on embedding.
There's a lot of conversation.
Let's do it. That's all we're going to talk about. Now, listen, my box says cool guy. All right. So that means
there you go. But I mean, there's good arguments over. It's like, well, the websites that are doing embedding have earned that success. Why should they not be able to use the tools that they've made to do that? And then there's a counter argument. Well, it's because the people that are contributing to the viewing numbers on Twitch don't even know they're viewing a stream. That's an important detail. So, like the pendulum goes back and forth, and you can for hours talk about this stuff.
Yeah, and people there's a lot of good resources. Gathalion, we brought him up because he's been very vocal.
He's been fighting a
Twitter.
good fight out there, yeah.
He's been in a couple podcasts with some important folks on the conversation. Yeah, so go check out his Twitter. I think he has a lot of resources and literature, as it were, about all that type of stuff. The final thing that they announced, which we kind of briefly talked about, was the simulcast. You can now simulcast on any live streaming platform. As long as you don't have a different contract like Cohh does. So are you still trying to get that changed? How's that going?
Dude, here's the thing. This simulcasting thing is one of the biggest announcements that Twitch has ever made.
Yeah, it's a big deal for sure.
This is a foundational change. I mean, especially for anyone who does sponsored content. I mean, your literal payout is based on how many eyes are on the stream.
Yeah.
So if you can say, I get this many numbers on Twitch, but I also get this many numbers on TikTok, this many numbers on YouTube, this many numbers on Instagram, and it's like those numbers in some cases rival or even more than you get on Twitch. Like not being able to participate in that is a huge deal, and more importantly, changes the whole value of the contract.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like at that point, like if Twitch changes the rules, then all of a sudden you have to factor in, by taking the contract, I am losing out on all of this like potential, not only gain, but growth on these other platforms. And so it's a very big deal. I am certainly not the only one in this boat. There's a lot of streamers in this boat. And I think Twitch is still figuring out what they're going to do. For the record, I've definitely had some people be like, man, I can't believe Twitch is just giving you the finger. They're not. I think the simulcasting, this simulcasting thing is new. It kind of, I think a lot of it was reactionary when they announced it for a couple reasons. Because if you guys remember, just half a year ago, they made a similar announcement, but they said that you can stream on other platforms while not live on yours.
Right.
So that alone kind of threw out this signal where it's like, okay, we're looking at the situation and here's our decision. And now they're revisiting that decision. So it's there's a lot of legality and stuff going on behind the scenes, but the short of it is, and I've been having to say this a lot lately, if I could be simulcasting, no question I would be. Yeah. Absolutely, I would be exploring that. It's a very interesting new thing to do. So
it's something I'm going to definitely explore.
Yeah,
for sure. Like
I think anyone who's not limited should be. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't think it's as easy as just like, I'm going to turn on all the streams, because you do actually have to think about the analytics on the other platforms. When it comes to YouTube, I think, Max, you're probably more YouTube inclined than Cohh and I. So maybe you can add to this.
My understanding, I know everything about YouTube by
no, not at all. But I think you are more inclined than me or
sure.
Cohh. My understanding with streaming on YouTube is that when you stream on YouTube, it helps you in the YouTube algorithm. Is that correct?
It can.
It can.
Yes.
Okay. So if you stream on YouTube and the numbers are low, does that hurt you in the algorithm? If like your audience is more inclined to already watch on Twitch, for example?
That I wouldn't know. I know another buddy of mine, he says from his perspective, and I guess the creator I'm talking about is Dr. Gluon. He'll stream on YouTube and stuff here and there, but he's up till, probably more recently now, he's just done dedicated, obviously, YouTube streams, and then, just because he couldn't. He says the big thing with YouTube is that the algorithm sometimes will just catch on with the VODs. He says the VODs is the thing that you actually want, because with a stream on YouTube, it becomes a video then baked into your YouTube channel, and that can be really good to draw new people in. Sometimes just whatever you're streaming, if it's tagged right and properly, can have a lot of benefit there. Now, as far as the actual like growth, as far as the algorithm for live views, I don't know, because I haven't used it enough, because I've been, I don't think I've actually ever done a YouTube live stream because of just the way that it's been on Twitch, and Twitch being my main place and them having restrictions on it. But now that it is a simulcast thing, I'm going to explore that because I obviously now can leverage another place where, of course, my YouTube is not as big as it used to be, but there's still significant people there that come in all the time that are like, yeah, I don't watch on Twitch. This is my ecosystem. I consume content on VODs. I just now realized that you stream and I've been missing out. You know, that happens all the time. So I'd be stupid not to take advantage of it just on a base level, but also having the knowledge that there's all these viewers that have followed me for so many years that probably would watch on YouTube and be perfectly happy to have that and then have the VOD afterwards, you know?
Yeah. I think you'll start to see a lot of simulcasting. I just had the thought of how does contractually, Cohh, because of your contract, can we not simulcast drop frames on YouTube because we're streaming this to your channel?
If I'm on the show, no, you can't.
Because you have to be, you can only,
it's whatever content I create. So if I'm on the I'm creating this content alongside you. Yeah. So we cannot simulcast drop frames. So what I'm trying to say is it's been a great ride, everybody. I'm gonna have to respectfully take my leave so JP can grow as a person and a streamer.
That's an interesting thing. I wonder.
Yeah.
But if we don't stream to your channel, then we could do it. But
it's
then that's
any content I create. That's
so.
The issue.
If you're on
anyone, goes further than even that. So
I cannot you can't be on other people's channels that are streaming that are what is it, simulcasting.
Yes.
I
cannot be live on other platforms.
If a group was simulcasting, you couldn't join a gaming session because they're live simulcasting. You can't be a part of that content.
Correct.
Yeah. Interesting.
Wow.
I mean, that's exclusivity, right?
Talk to them about that. You're going to have to talk to them extensively more about that. That's weird. That's a weird one.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
we're talking as much as we can. The hope is that they're going to be in good faith about this. Because again, this contract was not designed around this at all.
Sure.
Like the problem, yeah, exactly. And again, I can't get too much more into it, but we're talking. That's, you know.
Yeah. What if you're a VTuber named Cohh-chan? and it's not true. You, but it is you with a slightly pitched up voice. You know?
Well, I don't know, maybe that would work.
It might work, you know.
They'll never know it's me.
How could they? You know?
I know, how could they? How could they?
You never know.
He drops into Meatwad.
Yeah, that's right. Cut the meat bridge.
I wonder how many people, you know, our audience probably is very aware of Aqua Teen Hunger Force now that I think about it.
Oh, yeah.
They're aware of that. Yeah.
They're a little bit older. You gotta be a little older these days.
yeah, without a doubt.
Gonna hit him with a Squidbillies one day just to see what's going on out there.
There you go. So yeah, TwitchCon was a good thing. A lot of people came back from that, sharing our sentiment. We weren't Cohh was not the only one with the hashtag good vibes after the con. I saw it kind of across the board. And you're totally right.
Also,
like it feeds into the viewers, 100%.
I'm gonna announce this early. Okay. I'm gonna try to get many old timers to come.
I saw your tweet about that. Yeah.
Yes, I would love to. Like, there's no question that the last 5 years have dramatically affected what I would call the OG.
Yeah.
Being at TwitchCon.
Yeah.
I think it is time to give it another try. If you are even slightly inclined, I think you should give it another try. We could get some of those old school parties back up, bring out, you know, some of our communities that have been on Twitch for 10 years. You know, I think it could be a lot of fun. So I definitely encouraging people to hit next year.
Yeah.
So JP, we're gonna get you out there, right?
We'll see.
We would love to.
Yeah.
Hold on, is this the right? We're gonna get you out there, right?
We'll see. I don't know. We'll have to. I don't know.
Give him the
have a
stare.
little fun with your buddies.
See what happens.
Maybe even have a live dropped frames.
Maybe. Here's the thing.
Man, are we still relevant enough for that? I don't know.
Not on the big stage.
I don't know.
That's for sure.
Yeah. No, not on the big stage.
Yeah.
No. But I mean, like a little panel kind of conference panel.
They did some panels. They did some panels with some other shows
this
panel.
Year.
Little kids table off stage that says "and more." And just sit there quietly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Only if it's plastic and like the tables different colors than the seats. You know those old.
That's right. I'm just sitting there coloring.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
With your juice box.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That'd be great. I'd be very happy.
We will see. We have a lot of games to talk about We also have some news. We'll get through the news here. Not that much stuff has really happened in the past 2 weeks. We haven't talked at all about Pete Hinds, who's the Senior VP, Head of Publishing for Bethesda Softworks, announced that he's going to be retiring. This was on October 16th. We have not done a show since then, but yes, he is out after 24 years at the company, which is kind of crazy. Also announced that day that the lead quest designer left Bethesda, the Starfield lead quest designer left Bethesda to join other RPG veterans in making a new open world game. Games Radar was covering that story. Who is the person's name? Will Shin is the name of the person. Will, S-H-E-N, Shin, is leaving. And he's been working with Bethesda since Fallout 3 on that. So he is no longer with the company. Definitely Pete Hinds, obviously the bigger role. And I think, who knows what that actually means for Bethesda? Is that going to change actually anything? Probably not, right? Like, they're a massive company. I think Bethesda's good at Bethesda, and without Pete Hinds being there, this was probably planned ever since the Microsoft acquisition, I would assume, that once Starfield got out, he was like, yeah, I'm good. I've been doing this shit too long. I'm going to
that amount of time at the company, like, you just, like, makes sense.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself. If you ain't feeling it anymore and you've done your work and you're happy with your work, that's fine. You
would think 24 years, especially at that like level and that focal point on so many massive games, with such a easily excitable fan base, to put it nicely. He's probably just like, thank fuck. Like,
yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. I'm gonna go hang out on my yacht. We call it Microsoft money. Oh, it's gonna be so good. So he's done. He's out. He posted a bunch of Twitter stuff. If you want to go read that and you missed it. A little bit of an older news tidbit there. Either of you watched the Squadron 42 thing that they announced?
No, but I've heard nothing but good things.
It's an interesting thing.
Yeah, apparently Squadron 42, which is the single-player version of Star Citizen, the single-player story adventure version of Star Citizen, has entered the final phases. It's feature complete.
Yes.
They are doing polishing and stuff, and that this is the part that is still blowing my mind. It's actually releasing in the relatively near future.
Which it's a completed
we
game?
don't know.
Relatively
the game is
near.
complete,
it's
and their optimization now. Yeah,
their optimization and polishing.
Yeah,
I'm not used to hearing that.
It's
I know.
They put out a 26-minute video. I watched it in full. We'll see.
Is it worth a watch?
It's not bad.
At this point, we're actually between like 6 and 8 years away of release.
Yeah, maybe, depending on how long they take to optimize. They go on at length to say here, well, I think Cohh was joking. They do say optimization might take a long time, and that we are very slow at what we do. So it might take a very, very long time.
Yes, they are. That's putting it mildly. They're very slow.
They are very
but
slow at what they do.
Everything they showed for this looks cool. I mean, some of the scenes are like kind of low FPS, right? Because they haven't optimized. But they've got a bang up cast. Gillian Anderson is in here, and that's what the only name coming to mind right out of the gate. But yeah, and he was in the other Wing Commander, so that makes sense, right? I think he might have, or Gillian Anderson might have been in some of the other ones. Gary Oldman's there. Mark Strong is in there. Henry Cavill is not in this video, but he apparently plays a fighter pilot. In this game.
They got the money to hire actors, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely do.
Sir Davos from Game of Thrones is in there. Andy Serkis is apparently in there. There's a lot. Whether that means it's a good game, who knows?
We'll see.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But they definitely have the monies, all 600 million of it, or at least a faction of that being put into this game.
And to make this clear, no, Squadron 42 is not Star Citizen.
Yes, it
what
is
this
not.
project is. This is
No,
Star Citizen : Squadron 42. It is a parallel project. It is not the cake that is Star Citizen. It is the engine. It is a lot of the ships. It is the world, but it is a more focused. Like, I believe it's relatively linear. Like it's a what's the best way to say it? I don't want to say Mass Effect because that indicates kind of like semi-open world, but from what I understand, it's very beginning to end.
It's Wing Commander.
Yeah, there you go.
It's Wing Commander. I mean, that's what the origin of all this is Wing Commander. So, yeah.
Single player campaign. There you go.
Yeah.
Star Citizen is a much larger sandboxy, can wear multiple hats, doing all sorts of big. Yeah, it's not that.
Yeah.
It's not.
They're showing all the different characters and what you can kind of do with the character customization here. I think in the opening of the game or whatever this cutscene is. But yeah, it's a very long video. We're not going to watch all of it. If you're at all interested in like Wing Commander or sci-fi, or you just want to see what the fuck they've been up to for this long with that much money, there's some cool stuff in here. It's an interesting watch. And it
they also
could very well be an interesting game.
Base building to Star Citizen.
Yes, they announced base building in Star Citizen. Yeah,
they just keep adding more and more to that game.
What?
Yeah. That's
Well,
that. I did not watch that
more.
video on Star Citizen because I'm like,
It would imply you have
okay,
working core parts for.
yeah. So
It just keeps getting bigger, dude. The scope just like blub 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 blub.
yeah. There's a lot going on there.
I will not talk about it because I could rant about it.
No, please don't. I don't want those. Well, it might help the algo if we have a bunch of comments from disgruntled Starfields fans. But please
Starfield?
don't. Sorry, Star Citizen.
God.
Now I've done it.
So the confusion begins.
Now I've done
right?
it.
Oh,
or
there
now
we go.
they've done it. It's fine.
The Star Citizen have fishing? It doesn't. And God forbid they put it in because then I'd have to actually start watching the project.
There you go. That's how you get them.
Yeah.
That's how you get them. Some Capcom news. They announced some more figures. They had a big report over at their capcom.co.jp link, which is their official website. Resident Evil 4 Remake sold nearly 5.5 million copies, and Street Fighter 6 has sold 2.5, both wildly successful. The bigger takeaway here is they talked more about this title, that the unannounced major title. There's two questions on the post, and it said, how do you plan to achieve the sales goal for new titles for this financial year? They said, in the second half of this fiscal year, we plan to release Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney Trilogy in January, which is already known. And then they say, quote, in addition to a currently unannounced major title. This is the second time they have referenced this. They go on to say, moreover, we plan to boost the sales figures of new titles of the first half of this fiscal year to achieve the target. Next question, do you think the sales goal of 45 million copies of console, or how do you think the sales goal of 45 million copies of console titles, taking into account the first half of this fiscal year, wouldn't it be difficult to achieve it? They said, we are planning a major title in the second half of this fiscal year. So that means March is what they're targeting. March, April is what they're targeting. This has to be Monster Hunter. There's no way this is not Monster Hunter. I don't know what title they have that could, quote, sell millions.
Parasite Eve 2, man.
No, that's so. There's no way that sells millions. Monster Hunter World, the first one, sold 19 million. Dragon's Dogma 2 is announced, guys. This is unannounced.
Dino Crisis?
Nope.
Dino Crisis 2?
Nope. No one gives a shit about that. Also, that's Square Enix, I guess. I didn't realize that. Parasite Eve is Square Enix, not Capcom. But my big bet, and I've been saying this for a while, Monster Hunter World 2 or Monster Hunter World 6, Monster Hunter 6 rather, gets announced at Game Awards on December 7th, comes out March, comes out April. Copium needs to happen. They also talked about a new engine, the REX, the Rex engine, which is the RE engine, but they're continuing to work on it and make it better. So that's very exciting, especially if that game is utilizing that. Could look very cool. What else is happening? Oh, here's a fun one. Skull and Bones is in another new release window. They're not calling it a delay anymore. They're just saying it's a new release window.
It's a release window.
Yeah.
I love how they call it a window too and not a date.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was at a Ubisoft earnings day, and it said that they can that we can expect Skull and Bones to launch sometime between January and March of 2024. That is, IGN reports the 6th 6th delay for that game. That's crazy.
But hey, it's fine.
The first time that game was shown
Fine.
was E3 2017.
Oh my God.
It's so crazy. It's insane.
That's fucking crazy. That's a wild thing. It's very
In
wild
that time, games come out, they release, and they
get a
work on their
sequel.
second game, and that second game gets released.
Yeah, and it's
Or
called
close
Spider-Man
to.
2. Spider-Man 1 came out, I think,
It's
in
insane.
2017. I think that was a 27, maybe 2018 release. And the second one just came out. Moving along. The Xbox partner preview happened on Wednesday. It was mostly focused on third-party stuff. The finals was in there, which is now playable, I think, for this weekend. People seem to be...
Yeah, it's a demo. Kind of.
Yeah, people seem to be enjoying that. Manor Lords was my community's biggest kind of hit, takeaway from that. Ark Survival Ascended. Is that thing still impossible to connect to, Gassy? I know you were trying the other night. Did you ever actually get to play Ark Survival Ascended?
I did, and then when I got in, I only got connected to unofficial servers. This was like still the first night of it. I think it got better based on what I saw. I saw some other friends were able to get in there. I still think they have connection problems.
Jeez.
And when you do get in there, and this is just more speaking to the ARKS community and just PvP servers in general, especially official, just get ready to get just hit by somebody who's the tiniest character you could possibly see and holding a club, and they just knock you out over and over, especially if you're a streamer.
Sick.
You see this little tiny blurb wielding this giant club, and then you're dead, and you
That sounds fun.
have a bad time.
That sounds like a
You
fun
can also
game.
other people have had better times as well, but it seems it's ARK.
Yes,
with
look.
a fresh new coat of paint kind of deal.
Survival has ascended in Ark.
I quickly parachuted out of that scenario pretty quick. I was like, well, it's hard enough to get in, and then you get in and you just get, killed by somebody who's just this tiny little speck. So I pulled out of it. You'd have to ask somebody else about Ark.
Yeah, no, I got you. I just know you were trying to connect. Spirit of the North 2 was there. Dungeons of Hinterberg, title called Still Wakes the Deep. RoboCop, which I think is on Game Pass. That comes out, the official title, in about 3 days on the 2nd. There's a game announced called Akara Will Not Die. They showed Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Did you happen to see that, Cohh? Where they announced an island?
Okay, for the entire trailer, I thought it was for like a side game. I didn't realize that was for actually Infinite Wealth. They're making an entire island management game in Yakuza. It looks incredible. I'm concerned about how much time I'm going to spend in that game.
Yeah, it's straight up Animal Crossing.
I'm worried.
Straight up Animal Crossing in that. I don't think there's any spoilers from like a story point of view, so you can definitely watch that trailer if you want to see what we're talking about. They showed some stuff from Metal Gear Solid 4, not Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid Triangle. Why do they put the triangle there? What's the deal with the triangle?
Delta.
Is that what that's supposed to be?
Delta.
Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater? Okay.
Sure.
That's a thing.
It is. That's saying it's Delta, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's saying Delta. It looks good. Animations look a little bit stiff, but like graphically, it looks pretty impressive. And then Alan Wake 2 had its launch trailer there. And we can kind of use that to talk a little bit about Alan Wake 2, because I think we've all played it. I will not show a single bit of footage from this title, because it is, I think, kind of spoilery in all forms to show anything from that game.
You can show some... wandering around the forest. That's probably fine.
Wait, there's a forest?
There's a forest. I mean, I'd have to find
forest.
It's easier said than done. We'll see. But yeah, we've all played it. It's the big release this week. I've actually surprised that I'm still playing it. Because that game is fucking terrifying.
It gets a little scurry, man.
How far are you guys chapter-wise? I'm curious who's like the furthest. Only because I want to know how scary it gets.
I'm on Return 3, if that means anything to you.
Yes, it does.
There is a part of this game that people are going to be talking about for years, if not decades to come.
Okay, I have
And
not
I've
seen
just
that yet.
complete that part of the game.
I have not seen that yet. Yeah, I've heard about this thing.
don't-
Only that it exists. I don't know what it is, but
I don't think I've seen that either. That sounds important and big in scope. Where it would probably resonate in my mind if
I don't want to like overblow it for you and be like it's the best thing ever made, but I will say it's a very unique, cool part that I think everyone who plays the game will enjoy.
I've heard that echoed even more hyperbolic from a lot of different creators and people that have played it.
Yeah, I would love to talk about it, but we'll wait until we've all done it and do a little spoiler cast.
Yeah, I can speak on the game from someone that does not play scary games. Try and play that game, even if you don't like scary games. It's worth it. The story is phenomenal. The way that they're telling the story is unlike anything I've ever really played. I don't know how to I don't even know how to relate what that game is doing from its storytelling perspective. Like it's so unique in that way. And it's also, I think I'll go as hyperbolic as to say like probably one of the best games I've ever seen graphically, if not like the best game. It is
really pretty,
stunning how insane
really, really pretty
that game is. And it's not just because it's a scary game and everything is dark so they can focus on just what you're seeing. When you go to you go to a city and the cityscape is incredibly detailed. It is gorgeous looking just walking around. There's shots of it where you're like, well, that's real. Like that's just some city in like Oregon. That's a real place. And it's like, no, this is a video game. You're walking around in this. But it does take a beefy fucking PC. Like you need a very, very high-end PC to run it at like ultra. They're not fucking around
at the high end kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think
there's definitely like levels of optimization, but
I think low on PC is what consoles have. So it's already going to look good. Don't treat it like every other PC game where low looks bad. Low still looks really good.
Yeah, low looks still good. There's levels of that kind of stuff. When there's been, this game and like Cyberpunk and all this kind of stuff that have been getting like the NVIDIA, I guess, treatment of like where they collab with them and go in and try to make things. So obviously a lot of it, the credit goes to Remedy and stuff, but it's neat seeing these games in recent memory, Cyberpunk's Phantom Liberty and 2.0 update, and then this, where it's like, I like that. That's really cool to know that you guys are going in and really hammering away and tweaking the technology to make sure that it works, not just on the high end, but like the older cards as well. And from what I can see, it's working well. I can't speak to how that stuff runs on console. I've seen a couple people talk about how there's some crashing issues and stuff on console. So, but at least on PC, it's gorgeous. Especially too, like whenever a game takes on good looking and good behaving physics and animation wise, like foliage, that stuff's impressive that they got going on. Like,
oh yeah.
Not to mention, obviously, like the reflections and I'm not paid for buy Alan Wake 2. Okay, it's a pretty game. Go check it out.
No, you could say it. It's a gorgeous game. I don't think you'll get anyone arguing.
It's really pretty. It's just so many games do that wrong. Just it's a hard thing to get right, especially when you're talking about like being in a forest and having things feel like you're actually in a forest without being taken out of that world, because there's just so much to have texturally right and then also move around without getting wonky and weird.
Yeah. And it's also just a lot of times the forests are not dense, and this truly feels like you're walking around in a forest at night with how just like in just how it looks. It's gorgeous looking.
Trying to get in this person's backyard here. What are you doing?
I'm just looking. I'm just checking it out. I'm actually going through getting all the collectibles. I don't know if you guys are doing the same, but I'm trying to get
map stuff helps.
Yeah,
with that.
I'm trying to get like everything in it, because there's a lot of stuff that you can just never go and get in the game, and it's helping me. I'm playing on normal. Cohh, are you playing on hard?
Hardest, yeah.
Okay. How much is that? Are you finding yourself dying a lot?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay. Normal seems
I've definitely
fine.
died a few times. Like I was dying a lot because my dodge key was in a terrible place, but then I moved it to a pretty decent place, and I'm like once an hour if even.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult. And if
I've
I actually
gotten
was good
caught.
at aiming, that'd be, nice.
I get caught with the control. My instinct is to use control as a crouch and or a dodge with other games. And so that I'm probably gonna have to rebind that because the amount of times I've actually gotten caught out just because I got caught in the inventory because I hit control instinctively.
It doesn't pause.
Yeah, and it's not fun when that happens. I
Yeah.
should just rebind it, but thus far I've dealt
That's
with
what
it.
I
And
ended
that's
up
just
doing.
me just playing on normal.
Yeah, I'm playing on normal too. I've died like once or twice, and it's mostly
Yeah, it's the same. I think I've died like twice, maybe.
it's mostly the times that I have died. It's because I've been like fucking freaking out at what's happening on screen.
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
like,
say the other side.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Just running around. Yeah. Because we've said it before. The game's fucking terrifying. And I've heard that the beginning is only the beginning when it comes to like how scary it is. That there's stuff later on in the game that's fucking real crazy, which has kind of impeded my want to continue on, but I will. I'm just taking it slow. There's no rush to continue scaring the shit out of myself.
Remove the fact that it's Remedy and that it's connected to the world of control and all that kind of stuff. Like that stuff's really cool, and they're going to tell a good story in a pretty looking game and environment. But I get excited about games like this when I know that there's that AAA like level of effort and quality that's going into something that is going to be scary. Because most scary games are such regurgitations of themselves and the same tropes and the same like very, very laborious sort of like grab this. Okay, you got to this thing. Now you got to go back and grab the key from the other place to bring it over here. And they don't sustain the fun. It just becomes a chore, and the scares become stupid and they're very predictable and all that stuff. So when you have something like this that is delivering something scary and like atmospheric and thriller or whatever, but it has that extra level of creepiness and effort put into all of that, like that's exciting for me because I know that I'm going to get something special and unique rather than just like, all right, here's another scary game that's just kind of doing the same tropes. Maybe they change things here and there, and then eventually it just evolves into being a chore to play. I don't feel that with this, at least yet.
Yeah.
Which I knew I wouldn't. So I get excited about that. There's two facets there that interest me, both the fact that it's Remedy, like I said, and then the actual setting of what it is. It's meant to be like scary and spooky.
Yeah. I think the biggest question we've probably all gotten is, do you need to play Alan Wake 1 in Control play this game? I think you need to understand the story of what happened in those games to definitely make this game make fucking sense, especially in the opening hours, because otherwise you're going to be confused as shit.
You don't.
It gets confusing anyways.
But it's going to be confusing anyways. The thing about Control, and especially Alan Wake 1, is they're going to add a level of context to a lot of what's happening that you don't get in the game. So is it advantageous? Absolutely. Yeah. But you could also play Alan Wake 2 standalone and you'd still have a really good time. But if you got the time, like play Alan Wake 1, then play Control, then play this, then play the Control DLC, then play this.
Yeah.
Recap videos exist too, I'm sure.
They do. I watched
to
one.
kind of get you up to speed if you didn't want to go through
10 minutes long.
This has me wanting to go back and play Control though, because I actually never played any of the. Did any of you guys play the DLC that came out for Control?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was great.
Good?
It was connective material to Alan Wake 2. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Go back
Not only
play
that, well, give it some time. We got Control 2 on the way.
Oh, they're working on that? I didn't know.
We got Control 2 on the way.
That's exciting.
So if you want to replay Control, like it may be a good time.
Maybe I wait.
Do we get a release date?
Yeah,
and then do like a
wait.
big, exactly.
Yeah. That's exciting stuff.
I want to play it again now because of this game.
Yeah. It was. So I played. I've only played one day of this, but I played about 8 hours of it on the first day. And there was a lot of stuff that I got to where I was just like, what the fuck is that? Like, what the hell are they referencing? And then I watched the 10-minute video, and now the beginning of the game, I understand like so much more on what's going on and why this is this way and why that is that way type deal.
I may have to do that.
You should definitely.
There's some
do
stuff
it.
that's being lost on me.
Yeah.
I never played through all like of Alan Wake 1. And I feel like there's a lot of. I know the general idea of stuff, but I feel like there's a lot of minutia that would really benefit me if I went back and watched. I don't think I'm going to play Alan Wake 1. I'll probably just do a recap because
just
I'd
watch a
rather
recap.
enjoy this environment, this world and stuff, and be in the present
Yeah.
more with it. They also use a lot of language. I mean, he's a writer, right? And they're playing with like themes of that, and that's a central point in the game. So there's a lot of language
Very
and
heavy
stuff
narrative.
that comes through. Yeah. Where it's just like from the lake that's not a lake. He was writing, but he was asleep, and it's just a lot of like contradictory sort of phrasing, and they play with that. Like
it's not a lake.
The depths of the ocean.
Bro?
That wasn't an ocean, but a feeling that we all felt when we were growing in the sleep. That's not the sleep, and you're just like
It's not a
trying
lake.
to
It's an
follow.
ocean.
So wait, are we
Cast
sleeping
in
in the lake?
darkness, but his pupils dilated because of how bright it was. In the like, what are you saying, Alan?
The fucked up thing is, I agree with you. All that stuff is there, but it actually makes like narrative sense if you actually
I'm sure it does.
like take
When
a
you
second
take a step
to watch
back,
it.
absolutely.
And you're like, holy
it's
shit,
wild.
this is so well done.
The game has really, really, really good writing. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. I like someone in my chat. You're just saying words, Alan. You're just saying words,
dude. That's that's the
Sounds
fucking
like
game.
that sometimes,
yeah. And
say something.
I don't play that many scary games, so this is probably the reason I'm about to say what I'm about to say is probably because I don't play many scary games and it's used all the time. But man, they really make this so atmospheric and so like I just get so immersed in what's happening. There's moments where if you play the first game, they're like shadow things show up, right? But the way that the game handles them is that some of those shadows, they're not going to do anything. Some of those shadows are going to do some things. And you got to sit there and figure the fuck out how you're going to deal with that. Are you just going to like hold your flashlight on it and see if it dissipates? Or are you just going to, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
It makes like every encounter like a little bit of like it adds tension to every encounter because you're sitting there as it's walking towards you and you're like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to make your move?
And the entire time it's going. Alan.
You just got jump scared.
Alan. Wake. And it's like coming at you from all different angles. Yeah, that's the big jump scare that's getting everyone. And those are cheap, but they're effective.
Yeah. Those are cheap. Oh my, yeah, I know. There's so
that
many
same
of
one,
them.
I've seen Cohh get freaked out. I've seen Max get freaked out. I've seen Dan get freaked out. I got freaked out. I've seen everyone.
Yeah.
And then Ollie came over as the comfort support dog and was like, I'm here, human. Don't be afraid. Because that
good boy, Ollie.
Yeah, that thing got the shit.
Good boy.
It was terrifying.
Good boy.
The thing is too, you gotta be careful with those jump scares, especially us. Like
we're getting
at
old.
A certain age as a gamer. If you jerk your back a certain way with the, that could put you in a bad spot.
That's true. Yeah.
You're not ready for it.
Yeah. So I will assume that we'll probably have a lot more to say on Alan Wake 2 once we finish it. I don't know how far. I've been told the game's about 20 hours long. I don't know if you guys have heard that as well. But I'm only 8 hours into it, and I play the game relatively slow. It's about 20 hours from all the things I've seen, 17 to 20. Seems a good length.
That's where I'd like it to be.
Yeah. So I probably got another, I would say 3 or 4 streams of it, but I am taking it slow. I don't know of any content creators that have like rushed through it and played it yet, but
this is a game, and I've said this many times during it. This is a game to be savored.
Yeah.
Like this is a game that will reward you for not sprinting through the whole game.
Yeah.
Like absorb it, look in there's details everywhere.
Oh,
there are so many Easter eggs and things that tie back to Control and Alan Wake 1. And there's parts of this game where if you're paying attention to the environment, it is literally telling you what's going to happen next, or you could just sprint through and have no idea. Like it's wild how many little nuances are in this game. It's very clearly a labor of passion. Like this is not a just run through it game. Enjoy the ride.
Yep. I agree. It's fantastic. What else have we been doing? Cohh, have you played any City Skylines 2? I think Max didn't. I think I'm the only person that played it, and it doesn't run that well.
I'm waiting. I'm excited for it, but I'm waiting.
Yeah, we don't need to spend too long on it. The culmination of that game's issues are it fucking runs like ass. And I have a you know, I have a 4090, I have a 13900K, like I've got a very high-end PC. I'm struggling at some points to even put out like 30, 45 FPS at
Wow.
you know, proper
That's
resolution.
So unfortunate, man.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate.
They posted a big thing on the 25th, this past Wednesday, talking about the performance issues. They straight up said in a couple posts that like they're targeting 30 FPS. And they give you some issues. It says if you experience low FPS, we recommend the following: reduce screen resolution to 1080p, disable depth of field and volumetrics, reduce global illumination. You can check the full guide for more tips. And it's basically like, turn a lot of this shit off because we can't, the game is not running that well.
30.
So
Yeah.
there's a
30.
Reddit thread up. There's a Reddit thread up where somebody like zoomed into an individual person and like figured out what's going on. It's rendering the inside of every person's skull and like all of their teeth behind their like.
Oh, it's very
it's
in
just-
depth. Yeah.
It's
But
yeah,
that's
it's
why.
it's just so poorly. Like, who thought this was a good idea? And then unfortunately, on top of that, there's a lot of systems that are just fabricated.
Yes.
So a lot
I
of
saw that
systems
too.
like, are not really working. So like the traffic system is totally messed up and people break the law all the time. What was it? Someone in my chat said that like the commerce system is just smoke and mirrors. Like the whole like balancing act it's supposed to be doing is all just like smoke and mirrors. So a lot of the stuff that it was kind of, you know, they said they were going to be making big improvements or strides on are just not working.
That
So
being
kinda
said,
sucks.
with the performance issues all there, the stuff that they did include into the game, I have not played Cities 1 since release, and that game got patched a billion times. So maybe this is not that much of a big, you know, additive to the game. It is, they have done a lot to that game to make it a fun city building aspect. It's just that it runs like shit. So hopefully, now we've been saying this a lot the past couple of years. Hopefully, if they improve on all of that, they make the game run a lot better. You know, 3 months, 6 months time, we'll be saying like, "Oh yeah, you can go play
Usually
that."
Paradox does a good job like following up. Like,
They have great post.
it's not usually like Paradox to just abandon stuff and be like, well, that's the game. Too bad. You know,
Yeah.
That
So-
said, I can't speak about the specific severity of the problems they're encountering.
Yeah,
Couple good things to what you're talking about. That's, you know, some parts of it are working. The smoke and mirrors thing, apparently the commerce stuff was a bug.
oh,
So apparently that's good. And then somebody else said that the traffic thing was also debunked, but I saw screenshots on Twitter of people like posting cars in little
Circling.
GIFs, like making turns they shouldn't be able to do. So maybe that was just another bug as well. But
yeah,
hopefully, I mean, when it gets fixed, like I loved City Skylines 1. I was very excited for 2. So as soon as we get the all clear, basically, I know a lot of us are planning on diving in and you know, playing the game. So
yep.
Yeah.
That's probably the appropriate way. It's on Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, you can check it out, see how it runs on your system. But yeah, you're gonna have to have a pretty beefy system unless you want to run it at like really, really low settings. So
Some people were just bringing up. I didn't know that they nuked Lamplighter League.
that game really undersold. Like really,
they not only
undersold.
they bought Hairbrained Schemes a while back. They had them make Lamplighter League. After Lamplighter League, they gutted part of the team, and now they have since parted ways with them
God.
while keeping their main IPs. So
Wow.
it's just a bad situation. I mean, Hairbrained made one of my favorite turn-based games, BattleTech, and Paradox now owns the rights to that. No longer Hairbrained Schemes. So we will not see a BattleTech 2 from them. Yeah, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, that's rough. What else is there? Cohh, did you finish Lords of the Fallen? I know that was kind of the big game.
Yes, I did.
Okay. How
I did.
is it? How do you feel about that, having finished it? And did you
It's a
get
fantastic AA game.
Did you get the good ending? Do you know?
I
What
got
no.
yeah, in quotes. I got the good ending. I
heard the endings
necessarily
about
wanna
that.
spoil
Yeah,
it.
I don't want to spoil it. I just heard that the easier
they-
ending to get really sucks.
Yes. Yeah, and also here's the thing. The thing about Lords of the Fallen is it's a damn decent Souls-like game that was marketed as a AAA amazing Unreal 5 experience and priced that way too. And frankly, none of those should have happened. It's a AA game on a new engine, which is awesome. It should not have been marketed or sold or valued at a AAA game, and I think that's one of the reasons that it could have done a lot better, in my opinion. Otherwise, but I had a lot of fun with Lords of the Fallen. I think there's a lot of great stuff in there. There's a huge amount of weapons. The combat was pretty fun. The devs have stuck with it and addressed a lot of the concerns that players had on it. But you know, not to spoil it, but the ending of my 30-ish hour adventure was a black screen with 3 different chunks of white text flashing over it.
Sick.
Cool.
And they're going to tell me that's a AAA $70 experience.
Fucking cool, man.
Okay. Again, if they would have called it a AA and marketed it and priced as a AA, it's like, okay, cool, whatever. I experienced the journey, that's fine. But expectations are set when you charge $70 for something and you literally say this is a AAA product.
Yeah.
So to have an ending like that is definitely a little bit of a sting.
Yeah.
But again, I do want to go back to the game itself. Fun game, large, big world. The lore is cool. Some of the boss fights are great. Lots of great weapons. If you're a Souls fan, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Maybe when it's on sale. But it is good, and the devs are sticking with it. They're still optimizing it as well. There were some performance things, but it's getting better and better. And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed my time in it. So cool. They're working out the bugs and you know, fine tuning it, but it's a cool Souls-like, man. I had a good time.
Yep. Yeah, I will probably go back to it. What would you say? The chat just kind of echoed what I was about to say. Lies P, obviously, direct comparison to that, I think, is constantly happening. People have to split their time between games a lot. Where do you say people should go?
I would say right now, Lies of P is a more finished project.
Yep.
I would say Lies of P feels like more of a cohesive vision.
Okay.
Also, it's on Game Pass, which I think is great.
Is Lords of the Fallen on Game Pass?
I do not believe so.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I have finished Lies of P, and we've talked about that at length on the show already. Fucking fantastic game. So can't say anything about
the thing about Lies of P is that Lies of P is like really, really, really good. It also does some very interesting narrative things, and there's lots of things about Lies of P that kind of make it stand out. Where Lords of the Fallen, I would say, is kind of like, it does some stuff really cool, but there's not a lot about it that like really, really stands out. The biggest things I would be saying, probably like, I really like the Umbral Lamp system. That actually worked out to be pretty cool. The whole like 2 different worlds on top of each other. That was a fun gimmick. But you know, it was Lies of P is not only works well, runs well, and is well priced, but it's like, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. Yeah.
Cool. We'll close out with Return to Moria, because I know all of us have been playing that. Spider-Man 2 came out while you guys were at the TwitchCon last Friday. I finished that. I actually platinumed that game, which I don't often do. But I'm coming at this as a massive Marvel fanboy, so this game is pretty much made for me in a lot of ways, for my type of fandom. Cohh, have you played it at all? Am I the only person on the show?
Spider-Man?
Yeah, Spider-Man 2. Did you play it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played Spider-Man, Spider-Man's. I played it a little bit. I'm definitely having fun with it. I'm going to return to it this week.
Okay.
But with Alan Wake 2, and I'm still playing Return to Moria and all that kind of stuff. I just haven't really had time to dive back in yet. But I'm planning on probably doing it in the afternoon and cozy streams, and you know, when Alan Wake 2 calms down and all that kind of stuff, I'm gonna check it out. At least do the main story.
Yeah, it's
more Spider-Man. It's fun.
It's the best way to say it. It's, if you enjoyed Spider-Man 1, it's that on steroids. Everything's improved graphically, story-wise. I think the writing in this game is tenfold. Amongst the Twitterverse, and the game's got a lot of weird pushback from the I guess certain sections of the internet, which for me, I don't see any of that, but they claim the writing is bad and blah 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 blah, preachy, etc. Woke, I think, is a term that gets tossed around a lot for that, but I didn't get any of that. I approached it not really knowing where the story was going to go. They obviously talked about Kraven and they talked about Venom as kind of the 2 big villains. That game goes places from a narrative perspective. And if you are a comic fan and you have read the comics, you're going to be fucking shocked and surprised where it goes in the best of ways. I don't know how it's going to hit for people that aren't. I'm curious how it'll hit for you, Cohh. That's I guess you're a good test subject for that. So when you get to it, we'll see what you think. Because comics do a lot of dumb stuff, but it's cool for me seeing that. I had a great reaction to all of that. I don't know how that's going to work for people that didn't have that, in their childhood growing up. We'll see. I also think, Cohh, and your chat's going to tell you this a billion times, I'm sure, the side quests are actually worth doing from a narrative
I have
standpoint.
been told that extensively.
Yeah, from a narrative standpoint, I kind of wish they weren't side quests. I get why they're side quests, but they add so much to the overall narrative in terms of just character introductions, character moments, that type of stuff. But yeah, I think the game's fucking great. It's definitely up there. It'll be on. I'll have this conversation again, I'm sure, later on in the year. And it's also a very easy 100%. I had a great time doing it. It took 26 hours. So if you want to get your first platinum trophy and you're playing it, it's worth it. It doesn't take that long.
Cool.
You should do it. It's a very good game. I have full thoughts video on my YouTube channel. It's 25 minutes long without spoilers if you want to go watch it. But yeah, it's good. Play it. The Spooderman 2. They know what they're doing. I think it's also I think Insomniac got the highest review that they've gotten for a game. I think it's sitting at a 92 on Metacritic, something like that. So
wow.
It also sold
Spoodermans.
It also sold the most of any PlayStation game studio in the first 24 hours ever. It sold the most, which is kind of crazy to think about, considering how many PS5s exist in the world and how many people own those PS5s.
2.5 million people.
2.5 million in 24 hours. Yeah, kind of crazy for that. So I'm sure the sales will be insane for that month for Sony. Let's talk Return to Moria, a game we've all been playing. Oddly enough, I think a game we've all really enjoyed. I want to say we were all sponsored for it as well, just full disclosure. But we kept playing that game
for a couple hours. Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Max, I think, did 8-hour sponsored stream for that. Cohh, I think he did 4 or something like that. But we all played it afterwards.
Yeah, I've played it several times afterwards.
Yeah, it's gotten also panned.
I'm playing it tonight.
Yeah, it's gotten panned kind of critically. I think I saw someone gave it a 4 out of 10 or something like that, which was really, I don't know why. Stupid. I don't know if they were playing that solo and just had a bad experience. I didn't see the review in particular.
Maybe it was solo
but Cohh's playing solo and he's enjoying it, but he's also a survival.
I'm a huge. To be fair, I'm a survival. I'm a survivor.
You're a survivalist
guy.
Yeah,
I'm a survivalist. That's right.
Yeah,
I'm a rugged outdoorsman in games.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll pull up some VODs. Max, why don't you kind of lead the conversation with the Lord of the Rings Return to Moria?
It was just IGN that gave it a 4. That explains it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, no, I think this one, I'll speak for myself, but maybe you guys echoed the same sentiment that myself and a lot of other colleagues and streamer buddies were kind of going into this not expecting a lot, just based on the trailers that I saw. I don't know. That was me. There was some trailer stuff that happened kind of leading up to the release that was like, that could be bad, potentially. I hope it's not, and I hope there's more there. And thankfully, the latter came to be the case, where there's a lot to do in this game. And there's a shocking amount of depth, pun intended, into what you can progress to and explore and get up to. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by how much it's like JP said, we were sponsored to check it out, but all of us have played it a substantial amount afterwards, and it's been kind of the one that I've been coming back to with buddies when we're not exactly sure what to play, or we want to just come back into the world and see where more like middle to late game exploration takes us. And it's cool. It can be very punishing too at certain points, depending on where you're at and how far you've progressed to. There's zones where there's like these things that are the more rare resource called black diamonds, and they're kind of used for a lot of tech that will propel you into the next, I guess, tier or opening up another area or whatever. And It can be tough to get them. There's even just the other night, me and my buddy Class Packs went into this like lower area from even lower than the lower depths, and it's just shrouded in shadow, and even having like your normal light sources like torches and stuff still didn't do anything for you. It's just cool. You kind of have to be planning your food and stuff out. And then there was like these other new enemies that we hadn't seen. And there it goes even further than that. He's been playing even further than that, but it's a good experience, especially with friends. I would say Cohh would be able to speak more about the single player aspect of it, but I know just from a multiplayer aspect, it's a great game to jump in and have. You can have up to 8 people too. I've never played with 8 people.
8 people seems kind of crazy.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how that plays because I haven't done it. I think I've mainly just done it with like 4.
We had 4 at max. Yeah, 4 was ours when we were playing with Strip.
Yeah, I think I dabbled a little bit with other people where it was just like 5 of us, but yeah, pleasantly surprised by this game. Definitely not a 4 out of 10 in my book. I typically don't like just like rate games anyways in general. Just it's more like, hey, this is what I played. This is how I feel about it. You figure it out yourself. But
yeah,
if you are a Lord of the Rings fan, especially if you're looking for a survival experience centered around dwarves going into Moria and having some stuff to do and some good progression, I think it's fine. Totally fine. On console, it's 4 players, right? That you eventually will be.
Oh, is that the max on? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it's 4, and as that comes out, it's on Epic exclusive right now. So of course that brings up people like blah 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 Epic, whatever. Play it or don't. I don't care.
Same thing with Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2 is also Epic. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I agree. Everything you said. I don't know, Cohh, how far are you like tier wise?
I am about to build a giant stairway using a bajillion black diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so when you look at your gear, are you tier 5?
No.
Okay, because we hit tier-ish? We hit 3. Yeah, that's where we stopped.
Yeah.
In our like 12-hour stream where we first played it. But I've seen it goes to tier 5, maybe tier 6. So the game keeps going.
I apparently have to go find a library and do all sorts of stuff. I got to say though, like I have had issues finding black diamonds, and then this part that I got to is like, find 20 of them. And I instantly was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Like as a solo player, is it
crazy with grinding?
I mean, it's a very grind-centric game, which I don't really mind because I kind of like doing that. I kind of zen out in creative builder games and, just do little, runs for certain things and warp back and stuff. But it's definitely, as a solo player, it is doable. It is definitely very difficult at times. The combat system is kind of janky. And I think that kind of accentuates when you're playing solo. It's a little floaty. It's very easy to cheese if you want to. It's definitely not, I'd say, the high point of the game. The high point of the game is the exploration and the crafting, and there's lots of cool systems like food and farming and all that kind of stuff. You can also craft some pretty awesome bases if you want to. Which is fun too. But I mean, it's been a lot of fun, and as a solo player though, it's pretty clear that many parts about it so far have not been balanced for solo players.
Really,
which has been like
in particular,
the resource
just
generation
encounters?
what you have to get. Yeah, some encounters, and also like again, like if you're getting 20 solo or 20 black diamonds with a group of 5 people, it's different than if you're doing it with one person.
Yeah,
like
that is true.
They don't seem to have balanced much with that kind of stuff. So it's been a bit of a thing, but it's still fun. I mean, I'm treating it as a farming game, and it's been a good time. I'm playing more tonight. So
yeah. Do you have or do you find yourself with an affinity for Lord of the Rings, Cohh? Like enjoy the IP, I'm sure, but not like massive fan, or?
I would not need this to be Lord of the Rings to be really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that matters.
It's not really a huge. I mean, there's some references here and there, and I even get a lot of them. But it's not the kind of thing where it's like it's just a fun. It's a very kind of more linear Valheim-esque game. It is missing some really obvious QOL, which is a little weird. Like sorting, you can't sort stuff.
Yeah, you can't sort.
That's one of my biggest things with it.
When you if you put multiple things into a chest, sometimes they don't stack. If you have if a chest is full and you have like 5 of an item, and then you shift click a half stack into that chest, instead of putting it on that stack, it just throws it onto the ground. Like there's a lot of stuff in the game that's just super unintuitive and weird, and it's kind of like, how did this game make it to this point without some of this QOL? But You know, it's still fun. That's the core thing. It's fun to play. It's cool to explore around, and you know, still enjoyable.
Yeah.
I think
It's not my
that's
favorite
coming-
survival game at all, but it's still fun.
I think the good thing is the dev has come around, both mine and like some other people that were streaming, like saying that's coming. This thing, we know about this. You know, the time frame. It sounded like they were getting it out pretty soon.
Good.
In terms of quality of life patch. So it's good to know that they're like aware of it. Some of them are like, yeah, like the sorting thing. I'm like, why wasn't that in there? That feels like that should be in there.
Well,
Yeah.
like that's not in
Yeah.
there, but it will pull from chests that are in your base.
yeah.
That stuff's great.
Like that's
There's
great.
some amazing
Love that.
QL in it. Absolutely. Yeah. There's some amazing QL in the game. It's just like some is there and great, and other is just overtly missing.
Yeah.
A little weird. But apparently, yeah, like Kat's saying, there's a roadmap apparently, and
Cool.
things are coming. So, and for those who don't remember, Grounded actually, the first big patch of Grounded took it from like a good game to an amazing QL experience. So hopefully
Yeah.
we'll see something similar.
Mm.
Well, that did Grounded launch in early access? Because this is like full release, right? Yeah.
Yes, Grounded had an early access period.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. It's a weird thing where it's like, yeah, this is full release, but we're gonna continue patching it. Well, then why didn't you just release and call it? Well, we don't know. It doesn't mean anything anymore.
Money. It all comes down to
what is
money.
early access?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does feel cool, I will say, like going around and exploring the depths of Moria and making your little quick platforms and
Mhm.
Dude, that's
like
fun.
rope ladder stuff to
Yeah.
be able to make it more manageable to get around if you're coming back this way. You know, that's cool. That feels real fun. Rediscovering this old mine and then making it more navigable. Hey, it's me.
Why are
I'm
you going full
What
screen,
am I
Max?
doing
We
there?
got.
I don't know. I do things. It's my listen. I didn't know you were going to put this up on here. I don't know. I didn't even know I was going to be here.
That's true. You didn't until last night. Yeah. Thank you for filling in last minute. Yeah, we got.
Hey, you know, Max. A lot is expected of the and more title, so we'd really like
That's
you to kind
right.
of just
It's
keep
true. We
this in
don't just
mind
give it
during
to
all
anyone.
of your streams at
Yeah.
all times.
We
Yeah.
just-
Thank
Yeah,
we
I'll
don't
keep
just
that
give it
in
to anyone.
mind when I'm streaming. I'm like, oh god, JP might invite me last minute to be the cool guy box.
That's correct. Cool guy box.
Right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, we got in our multiplayer thing, we got fucking just straight up lost multiple times for about 4 hours. We were just wandering around aimlessly. And the exploration aspect of that was definitely fun. Also, we could have just looked at the map and probably figured it out a lot easier. But we had a good time just, getting lost in the mines, as they say.
Full in-game map. Not gonna use it. Nope.
Yeah. Well,
Not happening.
I mean, I don't know. I was gonna say it's fucking really intuitive. You just look at the map and it tells you where you go. And it makes waypoints for every campfire that you put on the game.
It's a very overtly procedural map.
Yeah.
So you know the box that you're in, but the box can have tunnels and ledges, and you may not. But you're still in the box. Kind of. It's not the best map, but it's a working map.
No, it's not. I was gonna say it's not an amazing map. It's definitely not like a great map. It's functional. It's there, and it'll give you an idea of where you are. But singing while mining, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
That little dwarvy
So-
thing.
As a solo player,
How does that work as solo? Yeah.
So sometimes he'll just sing like this, and it's fine, and it'll say a little ditty. But every so often, it's like a completely different voice in like a choir, and he's like, "I'm out here and I'm doing my own," and then like voices behind it, and it's just like, who is this
Maybe
guy?
he's losing,
Like-
maybe he's lonely and he's losing his
Maybe
mind.
he's
and
losing
trying
his
out some different
mind
voices.
slowly. Maybe, but
These
it's
are
great.
voices
So
he's hearing in his head.
I have to say, the whole I don't know if you guys went through the progression of the "I'm gonna eat this thing" songs. Did you guys
Oh
do
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
you get to the last one about the dragon. Did you guys get that one?
I don't remember
So
any
he's
of the
he's like,
lyrics,
I found
yeah.
a spider, I'm gonna eat him. I found
Yeah.
an orc, I'm gonna eat him. I found
Deer
a
or
troll, I'm gonna
whatever.
eat him. I found a dragon, and nope, I'm leaving. He has this whole little thing. It's
I didn't
like
know that you
a
did that.
progression of songs. It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
That's cool.
Little things.
Yep. It's a good one. Check it out with your pals. Jump in. Like I said, I don't know how much time you've spent in it, Cohh, but we spent, at least on our first stream, my first stream, I spent 12 hours in it, and we were barely approaching like tier 3, and I want to say there's like
We were just
tier
approaching
6.
tier 3
Oh.
stuff, but we didn't have the resources to like fully kit out tier 3 stuff just because
There's 4 of us.
XYZ.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what hour I'm in, but I mean it's gotta be like 15 plus at this point.
Yeah.
Like I've played it multiple days. I'm playing it tonight. I'm probably like it's just a very chill
Are you
crafting survival builder.
How much of your like base are you managing building? Did you take over an existing base? That's one of the things that I liked a lot, where you would just like happen upon some ruins of a former base.
The waypoints.
Yeah, and you could just
The
take it over.
waypoints are the big one.
Yeah.
So my plan is I found the first way. Obviously, you start in the first waypoint base, and then later in like the
and you
Elvish
destroyed
area,
it, right? You destroyed that waypoint right when you saw it, like I did, and got the black diamond from it, and didn't
Whoops.
fuck over
No,
your
I didn't.
teammate. Oh shit!
Oh no, that wasn't. I probably should have though.
Okay, yeah.
But no,
you
when I
can
found
get
the
some-
second waypoint base, I ran back to the first one and built it so I can like warp between them. And I'm kind of probably just going to keep looking for those bases and like, have a different purpose for every base and warp between them and all that kind of stuff.
We didn't have that convenience because some people decided to make some decisions early on.
Look, we needed
proved to be not great.
There was a thing you could craft if you have a black diamond, and I really wanted to check it out.
Uh-huh.
We don't need no stinking waypoints. I don't even know how to use
out
the
we
map. What is a waypoint gonna do for me?
I think that's fair. I do. I think that's fair.
Yeah. That could have been a contributing factor to why we were wandering around for 4 hours too. It's not like we found
Maybe.
an elevator that we could have used to
Maybe
get back
so.
to the beginning or anything.
Maybe so.
There's a point too in the game where you eventually like either construct this giant. It's not even. They make it sound like it's going to be this giant platform that you can just like lower down like some sort of big elevator pulley system thing, or and that requires like I don't know 15 black diamonds or
Yeah, it's
something
the
or
first
20
big
or something
hurdle.
like that.
Yeah.
Even when you build it, it's like it's not anything impressive. It's just platforms that you're building. You're like, oh,
just
so I could have
platforms.
just built this
Jumped
myself.
my ass
normally.
down. Yep.
And that's what
Same
other
thing.
people have done, and they're like, yeah, that would have been totally fine. My big thing was like, I was like, well, we got to build this thing because how are we going to get back out? It'll be tough to get back out. This is also before I'm really realizing like, well, if we went down there and then found there was a lot of what ifs and unknowns, and I was like, well, we'll do it the proper way, I suppose. And then you build it, and it's pretty whelming. The fact that it's not this like giant platform that has a pulley system or something cooler. It's like, well, it's just platforms and rope ladders. Like I could have built that myself without using all these black diamonds. You want some bang if you're going to put some rare resources. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be a criticism of mine. That part. Maybe an earlier way to deal with poison would be nice.
Oh,
That kind
before
of
the
is
brewing.
a bit.
Yeah.
A
Ooh.
bit annoying to have to deal with like poison stuff just ticking away at your health, and so there's definitely
I didn't
some
even know there
things
was a
that are
stealth
nitpicky,
system
but
until like 10 hours in.
we
What?
definitely were not stealthy. We did.
There's a stealth?
Yeah,
what the
dude.
fuck are you
There's
talking
a
about?
stealth,
A stealth
system. If you hit
system.
control, you can stealth around and bypass enemies. Yeah, there's a whole
Oh.
stealth system.
What?
There you go. The more you know.
It took me
Did you
5
see-
hours to realize there's a lock-on system, so I'm not surprised. I don't know
Same.
about
Big
the-
same. Yep.
Huh.
So. Yep.
Interesting.
Kind of thing.
Didn't know
It's
that.
neat. Don't expect a lot
It's
out of the
neat.
combat. It's fine enough. There's some
And
neat
see-
combat that you can do with it, but it's a survival builder exploration game. It's not made to be like
Going
combat,
back
I
to
don't
the
think.
thing
Yeah.
that I was talking about, Lords of the Fallen. This game's $40. It's a lot easier to give it like a pass and just be like,
Yeah,
it's good
exactly.
for $40.
Uh-huh.
Like that's the big thing. Like when you price
more than
when you
fine.
price your game, absolutely, you set expectations. And when you price it at 40, you're saying, hey, this could be a lot of fun, but it's not perfect, and it can. You're not going to go in and get amazing cut scenes and all this stuff. And it's like, and then when you start getting really nice stuff, like the dwarf voice acting is fun, and there's some great music every so often. It's kind of like, yeah, this is cool. This is great. Feel a lot better about it. So it's always nice to what is it? Under promise, over deliver. And
Yep.
and setting a high price is setting promises. And then if you don't deliver, it just sucks.
Absolutely. It's fun. Sorry for not having the title. That's Lord of the Rings Return to Moria. Not Mines of Moria. Return to Moria for that. I think we also all played Endless Dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mhm.
we did a sponsor stream, me and Cohh, yesterday, and
Yep.
I think there's been a lot of sponsored streams for it over the
Yes,
past
big
week.
push.
Yeah, big push
Big,
for
big
that.
Twitch push.
Seems fine. I don't know how long we want to spend talking about it, but like I don't know. The game seems okay. I don't have like any negative complaints about it. I played a little bit more solo yesterday, Cohh. That game definitely seems like it is made for solo play. Like it doesn't have all
Really?
of the. It doesn't have the things that you would want in like a co-op playthrough where like the host kind of controls everything in that game.
Yeah.
And that makes it
I didn't like that
Apparently they're
aspect
making
of it.
some changes with that.
They
yeah.
are,
I think they said they were going to
to
make changes. Yeah.
Yeah. But
It sounded fine too, though.
yeah, I like. I don't have anything bad to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know at the end of the stream you were to echo what you were saying. That the Dungeon of the Endless was more involved and a better, more advanced, not as simplistic thing. And I think most of the reviews on Steam that I saw after the fact is it's currently sitting at mixed, echoed exactly what you were saying. That it's just too
I
simple.
actually checked that too.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that are leaving negative reviews for Endless Dungeon are saying, I came to this game expecting the next Dungeon of the Endless, and what I got was like a super simplistic like a lot of the stuff that people liked in Dungeon of the Endless is not in this one.
Yeah.
It's just like more streamlined for co-op play, it's more streamlined for simplicity and just the action and, you know, the gameplay instead of like the deeper mechanics that the, I guess you'd call it the original had. So, but I mean, I think there's also a reason they didn't call this Dungeon of the Endless 2.
Sure.
You know, like there's
Yeah.
so it's an expectations thing. It ran fine. It looked pretty. What it did well. It just, I think people wanted it to do more.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. There's not really anything to add to that.
That's it.
Did you
That's
guys
it.
complete any of the challenges? Did you have challenges that you could potentially complete?
No, we were fucking awful at the game.
Oh yeah. No.
Dude, it took us like an hour and a half where it's like, man, we should really build more of these turrets. These turrets are really strong. Let's upgrade the turrets.
Okay,
guys.
to his credit, Sakura was like, okay, these guys are acid weak, and we can make these types of
He
turrets.
was
And you know, if
doing
you right click
that,
them, they can upgrade them, and then we can get them to level 2. And me and JP are just like, my gun is pretty when it fires.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's be real. You were like, my gun's pretty when it fires. I was like, guys, I'm gonna start a League of Legends game right before we do the sponsor.
And it was
Yeah, you
20
were-
minutes
then I
late
was
for the sponsored stream.
It's like-
Me and Beth caught a little bit of your the beginning of you lays end of you playing League and then
Oh,
transitioning
yeah,
into
I was-
that.
I
like,
was
oh, look, he's
tilted.
gonna play Endless Dungeon. That's cool.
yeah.
It's
It
like
was-
League to this. That's an interesting transition.
It was a rough transition. We'll say that.
Yeah.
So was
So-
Sacriel trying to get you guys like organized and
Sacriel was
figure out-
Sacriel.
Sakura
where
was
he-
just
was doing Sacriel.
Yeah, Sakura was just a good gamer.
Yeah.
He was just
Breaking
being
out the
himself. He was
chalkboard
like
and stuff.
he was figuring out the mechanics. He was exploiting what he could. He was like making like little sets based on what floor we were on and the type of he was Sakura was
It's
being
funny
Sakura.
because
Yeah.
it's funny because when we were watching, we had JP stream out and Beth wasn't really paying attention to what was happening at all. She just heard Sacriel start talking, and she obviously is English. She's like, that is incredibly British sounding. She didn't realize it was Sacriel. I'm like, yeah, it's Sacriel.
That's him.
Like whoever that is incredibly British. I'm like, yeah, it's Sacriel.
It's
It's
Sakura the
like,
Canadian
oh,
Brit.
it's Sacriel.
Yeah.
It's very British.
That's right.
Very British.
Yep.
Well, I think that's kind of it. Anything else?
I officially announced the game I'm producing, which has been pretty fun.
Oh, nice. I did not see
yeah.
that. How?
Yes, I am producing a game
is there a
called
video?
Emberville.
Let me pull up. Is there a
I
video?
don't. I think there is somewhere. I think it's on Steam. It is basically a creative builder, progression builder, dungeon delver action game. It's pixel art. It's basically like if you were to take Stardew and really lean into the combat, kind of come up with its own story elements. There's gonna be lots of boss fights. There's a creative building area that you can do all sorts of stuff in. There's a town that you're basically rebuilding as well with NPCs. They have quests and everything. And then there's this big procedural dungeon that you can go into to get resources. There's boss fights. You rescue townspeople, like all sorts of stuff. There's fishing and it's really, really coming together. So
Awesome.
It's been awesome. We actually just passed 30,000 wish lists, which we're super jazzed about.
Is that
And,
public anywhere?
coming together.
Can you see publicly how many wish listed, or is that just like a
No.
private number you guys have?
That's a private number that we have felt comfortable making public.
Cool. Yeah, I
it's
wasn't
only
sure
been
if you
wish
could start
listable
seeing
for,
this
like,
now.
Yeah. So it's very, very cool, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. It's been and is being awesome so far. We're shooting for it's gonna be $25, and we're shooting for early access, early to mid next year. It's gonna be very much a development with the community. So it's going to probably like come out in like 0.5-ish, and then we're going to do like major updates to 0.1, probably about 2 years after early access, because again, it's a when it's done product. We're not rushing it anywhere.
Yep.
It is already essentially funded. You know, if we need more funding, we'll figure it out ourselves. And so it's
awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Cool.
Single player or any multiplayer aspect to it?
Right now it is single player. Right now it is a single player adventure.
Figured as much. Yep.
And we are that is the public messaging right now, and you know, we'll see as the game develops what the community wants and what we can make and what's in scope, most importantly, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. Let us know all the I'm sure you will, but let us know all the
for sure
developmental updates and all that. How are you finding the like producer side of things for that?
It's really cool. What really kind of invited me into this project, the gentleman that's running it, the studio owner, was already kind of a fan of the channel and everything, and he's very aware of my time limitations. So what he does is we meet every week, but everything is kind of like built and concentrated around my lack of time. So the dev team, which we're about 20 big, and the dev team works in sprints. So I'll meet with the studio head. His name's Bryn. He's an awesome guy. And we'll like spend an hour, sometimes a little bit longer, being like, okay, what did we get done this week? What are we doing next week that wants to be the focus? And like, let's talk about what that stuff's going to be and how it's going to work. And then we have like a bunch of boards that all the team kind of keeps updated, and we're constantly looking over those and adjusting them and, you know, kind of fine tuning that. And the team is awesome. They work their ass off. They're all full-time employees. So there's like tons getting done every week. And it's a fast and furious process, which is really cool. Everyone's very goal oriented and everyone's very driven.
Awesome.
So, you know, if this level of production keeps up, which I have no reason to think it's not going to, this game is going to be something really special in a couple of years.
Cool. Yeah.
They've already gotten a huge amount done just in the time I've been with them. So, and they've been working on it a little bit before that too.
Fantastic. We will keep an eye on that. I think that's kind of everything. None of you, have any of you played that Super Mario Brothers Wonder? I've heard really good things about it.
I didn't even know that was a thing until just yesterday. I was like, oh, look, there's a Super Mario game. Oh.
I played like 10 or 15 minutes off stream. Seems like a Mario 2D game to me, which I very much underselling that game because everyone is saying it's like one of the best 2D Marios since Super Mario World for the SNES back in the day. But I have not played any more after that. I've heard only good things, which kind of just goes to continue to add to the crazy list of games that have come out this year. I made a list of games that have come out. We're at like 30 plus for all just like, yeah, you should probably buy and play this. And I think there's like maybe one or two more big games, but Alan Wake was probably one of the biggest ones left because we've got the Warhammer one in December. I think there's that Yakuza game in November, but I don't know. There's Avatar. I guess Avatar is a big game. Big IP. I don't know if it's going to be a big game.
I wouldn't say necessarily big game.
Yeah, we've got previews of that. I think I saw some post and whatnot about that. So we'll have previews of Avatar coming out this next week. We'll see what that game is. I don't know if there's anything else in terms of just things coming out. Mario RPG.
Rogue Trader, yeah.
40K
fans. Looking forward to that big time.
There's that Persona 5 Tactic game in November. I'll probably check that out at least.
We'll never see it coming.
For a JPEG or something. There's always Call of Duty in November. Yeah, I guess that is a big game release. Star Ocean 2 comes out on the 2nd, I think. And then that's kind of it. Thankfully, this year's had too many fucking crazy games. Things are starting to wind down. Yeah. They could start playing some of that backlog. BlizzCon is next weekend. That's a thing.
I have heard some weird things about this BlizzCon. Apparently the scalpers are having to like lower and lower and lower their prices.
Yeah, well, I think it was the first BlizzCon that did not sell out, which is wild for me to hear because I was always like BlizzCon tickets were impossible to get back when I was I had gone to every BlizzCon and stopped in 2019, I think. But yeah, we'll see. They've got stuff happening at BlizzCon. I'm sure they're going to have the WoW rumors are flying about. Classic Plus is a big maybe, which is another like WoW vanilla classic thing where I don't know any of the specifics. I just know that like blurbs that are out there.
Okay.
Arclight Rumble, which is their Clash of Clans parallel with the Warcraft universe. That launches, I think, this week. It is slated to make a shit ton of money. Clash Royale, not Clash of Clans. Yeah. And then I'm sure we're going to hear about, it's Warcraft Rumble, not Arclight Rumble. I'm sure we're going to hear about their survival game next weekend as well, because that's a thing that they've been working on for a while now. So I would expect that we get some form of that. But we'll cover all that stuff next week. None of us are going to BlizzCon, but
Nope. I've never been to BlizzCon.
Never been to BlizzCon? They're trying to think if you would enjoy a BlizzCon. The show floors are kind of fun. The thing about BlizzCon, and the thing I'll always remember about BlizzCon, they pipe the entire convention center with this like smoke, so the lights hit better on stage. And so the entire weekend you're just like huffing this fucking fake smoke that's what I will remember for some reason about BlizzCon. Is the fake smoke. Maybe that's just because I was involved in all the production. I was on stage with the fake smoke. But yeah, you're just huffing all of it.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's part of the copium, you know? It's part of the copium. That and the Hilton bar, which is where all the
someone in chat be like, JP's really selling the experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently you're not one of the sponsored people who's been all over Twitter with this, huh?
No, not at all. Yeah, not.
They're sponsored people to sell BlizzCon.
They're doing the Warcraft Rumble stuff. Yeah, there's 8 streamers in that tournament. Hafu, Tally, I think Tim the Tapman's in there. There's a bunch of other names. I can't ramble.
For me, I've been to BlizzCon and I had some fun at them, but I'm just not, especially now, like not as invested in the Blizzard IPs to have a good time there. Yeah. And like what's here for me, you know what I mean? Why am I here? I don't need to travel out here for this. So if you're still like gung-ho into Blizzard, I guess, or just want to keep a streak up or meet community, that's what I would imagine. Maybe it's it's a big meeting point for the community of various games and people that have known each other for a long time, as is a kind of a con draw in general. But
the opening ceremonies are always fun. Like I was at the opening ceremony where like Overwatch was announced, the first one, like that was fucking crazy. The people go ape shit when Metzen, he'll be back this year, so I assume they're going to do it again. Doesn't necessarily portray very well on like stream or video, but when you're in that crowd, in that giant opening ceremony place, and he does like the for the horde thing, it's like, kind of fucking cool. Like it's kind of fucking it's a fun thing to be a part of. Like I say, it doesn't play very well on video, but it's kind of cool when you're in there. So, but now you can watch it online. You don't have to have the direct TV pass anymore to watch the opening ceremony. They just stream it for everyone. So I will most likely be checking that out on Friday, and we'll bring all the news to you guys next week on the show. Zeke should be back. He's got the COVID. He'll be giving updates on Twitter.
Hope he feels better soon.
Yeah. That's not a fun thing for anyone that caught COVID at TwitchCon or is sick from TwitchCon. So that's going to be the show, though. I don't have anything else to say. We got some Alan Wake 2 to play and whatever else we're all doing, which we'll tell you about right now. Cohh, what do you got coming up?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Cohh. We're going to be playing more Alan Wake 2 tomorrow morning. Been loving our journey there, going very slow, having a great time with it. This evening, I should be back for some more Lord of the Rings Mines of Moria, Return to Moria. We're going to take it very slow this evening as I'm still recovering and everything. Moving into next week, probably more Spider-Man, maybe Cities if they give it a good patch there. Maybe another few odds and ends. But yeah, we're going to be finishing Alan Wake 2 for sure. Getting back into Spider-Mans. And if I don't see you until next week, have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you next time.
Awesome stuff. Max, thank you so much for filling in for us. Tell the people what you're up to and where they can check you out.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate being here. And again, hopefully Zeke feels better soon. but it was me today. Sorry. Or enjoyed it? I don't know. Whatever. I'm GassyMexican on the internet here. I won't be streaming anything today because Sundays are my day off. But tomorrow I'll be back, usually around like 6:30, 7 p.m. Centrals when we go live. Gonna check out more Alan Wake 2. Enjoying that game, and I want to progress to now even more to see what even is this big moment that people are talking about. No spoilers, of course, but that maybe a little more Moria. I kind of feel a little tapped out with Moria, but also I kind of want to see if there's something there. It just depends. Alan Wake 2. JP, should I play Spider-Man 2?
Did you play Spider-Man 1?
I did. I didn't beat it. Is the thing. I don't know.
It's up to you. I don't know. I will say from a business side of things, probably not going to do great numbers for you, but
that's what I figured.
Do great numbers.
Yeah. I mean, Alan Wake doesn't do great numbers necessarily either. Really. So
yeah, I don't expect that to do. Alan Wake though, there's more of a pull there because of just
just a fuck
what that game offers.
Also, about that not great numbers is get comfy. That's the next 2 months.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter what you play. It's gonna be pretty slow.
So not having games
welcome to the next couple months.
Yeah.
Thankfully, January, February, it's gonna pick back up. But until then, we're taking it easy.
I think I'm a giant Marvel fanboy, Max. So the obvious answer is yes. I don't know if that's gonna work for you. The combat and everything.
I want to say too, visually, and maybe I'm wrong just because I'm watching it from streams and little VODs. Graphically, it doesn't look that much different.
Oh no, that game looks miles better. Go look at the no pun intended.
I look from everything I've seen, I'm like, I expected this to look better.
Oh,
the last game looked really good.
It does.
So I mean, there are a lot of new things in this one, but the big picture, they both look good.
Yeah.
So it's
the biggest thing too in
It'd be a bit rate thing.
Maybe. And the second Spider-Man, the vehicle count and person count walking around is upped by like 100 times. So it's a huge improvement.
Maybe I'll give it a look just for funsies, just to say I played it, a little bit, just to get in there and swing around.
First hour of that game's fucking awesome. So you'll have a good time with it before it like slows down and tells you the story. But opening is fantastic. So. Cool. That's that. Thank you so much for watching Drop Frames. We'll have the VOD up, youtube.com/itmeJP, which we will not be simulcasting to, not until Cohh gets his contract figured out. At least for Drop Frames. We might do some normal streams for that. And then you can also grab it on podcast platforms where available. We're out of here for now. We'll see you next week. Have a great rest of yours if we don't see you then. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.